My friends, do you know what's pretty cringe? Living in a society. We literally live in a society, and that's pretty cringe as far as I'm concerned. It's a cringe stream. We're cringe streaming tonight on Twitch. That's pretty cringe. Why would you stream on Twitch? Gross. That's where all those e-girls hang out. Ew. Why would you hang around e-girls? Cringe. You embarrass me. Honestly, like, the fact that you go and you watch girls on the internet instead of hanging out with me, pretty cringe. Really though. What's going on? Yes, society. We do literally live in a society. I'm going to change to lo-fi stream beats. I am an e-girl. Well, what's the definition of an e-girl, technically? This is about as goth as I'm going to get. I mean, I have got black lipstick, but Look, I shop on goth websites. I window shop, but I never buy anything. Because, like, I got a few goth pieces, gothish pieces around. Like, if you look over there, that's my face. Hi, how are you? If you look over there, you can, well, you can't really see anything, but I've got, like, a collection of little things like these. I've got my satanic dress. I've got, like, a few other little bits and pieces. And I've got black lipstick. Like, I could goth it up a bit if I wanted to. I want to straighten my hair and dye it black. I'm not sure if I will, though. At any rate, my portal gun is colored purple. And having a portal gun is fucking cringe! Sorry to peek my microphone there, but I also have a blue snowball which peaks really easily, which is also cringe! Peeking your microphone. What am I doing? Hello everybody. Hello Julia, Lyrium, Demacia, Cake, Ferbs, Reaper, Maria. Who have I missed? Everyone. I can't get everyone's names. Because can you imagine being so obsessed with, like, if you have so many people in your chat, could you imagine if you had the capacity to look at everyone's name in chat and call every single name out in chat all the time? That seems pretty bloody cringe to me, mate. Making someone hydrate, cringe. There you go. What is cringe though? Like we have a tendency to just like throw this phrase around. It feels as though, in a lot of ways, that cringe has kind of fallen out of common vernacular in recent times. Hello, Black Cat. How you doing? At least that's my perception. It feels now, or at least maybe it's just the communities I am spending time around. Maybe it's just the particular communities that I am in these days. The phrase cringe sort of fell out of common usage. And now it's more like, you know, people are using based a lot more. Am I peaking again? Am I really? This microphone fucking sucks. I really need a good one. I need a better microphone. I want to get a Wave 3, but on the other end of the spectrum, I want to get a microphone and a camera that I can take away from my computer. So I don't want another computer microphone. I want a good production quality camera and mic that I can take away from my PC. But I don't have several thousands of dollars to do that because I keep buying swords. Anyway, so yeah, like a few years ago, started using the word cringe and started doing the Audi habit of trying to shoehorn it into every situation imaginable, which is cringe. But I don't know if you've been hanging around political Twitter or anything like that. You'll have noticed that, you know, or not even just political Twitter, just Twitter or any online community really. The phrase based has been making the rounds, which is sort of basically the opposite of cringe. Cringe is something you look at and you recoil in discomfort and disdain for whatever is cringy. And based is this, you know, I think actually based specifically means this is a controversial take, but it's correct, you know. There you go, Billy. How you going? Use your Node NT USB Mini. I'll have to give a look at that. Give that one a look. I know Pixel Smixel posted her new camera on Twitter earlier, and I looked it up. I looked up Sony A2600. I think it's an A2600 or whatever it was. $1,500. $1,500 Can cringe be based and vice versa? Well, can gringe be based? Misspelling cringe is pretty cringe. What's up, Fallen? How's it going? Don't understand the fascination with the Wave 3. It's literally more expensive than buying a good XLR mic and a mixer together. Is it really? I thought the Wave 3 was only like $300. So like, what? How much is an XLR microphone going to set you back? The fact that you all want me to flip you off is fucking cringe, honestly. The fact that you like being disrespected, you fucking bottoms. I have a community of bottoms. Jesus. Like, I've looked at the Shure SM7B before, for sure. But like, for example, under 100 or under 200, you know, is this the kind of stuff you mean? Like, ATR 200, Australian 133, currently unavailable, so fuck that shit, can't get that one. AT 2035, I've heard of this one before. Is this one particularly good? Comes with a pop filter. I have a microphone stand. So I don't need to buy a microphone stand because I keep moving the microphone around. That's... Can you guess what I was going to say? Can you guess what I was going to say? There's the AT2020 I've heard good things about. I've heard good things about this one. For example. Demacia, you fucking bottom. Cringe. Embrace the cringe, friends. And that's kind of what we were going to talk about, I think. A little bit. Before we get into the politic. Sure, SM58 for like £90. £90. I've heard the SM7B is just ridiculous. But the SM58, let's have a look. Dynamic vocal microphone. It's one of those looking ones. You flipped me off back. Oh my god. I can't believe it. Alright, here you go, Fox. Using a pole. There you go. $10 million or 10 million followers. Who has 10 million followers? I think... Who are the top streamers? I want to look up who the top Twitch streamers are. On list of most followed Twitch channels on Wikipedia. There's only 2 streamers that have more than 10 million followers. That's kind of crazy to me. Because, you know, you think of YouTube as a comparison, and YouTube has got, you know, several people who've got tens of millions of followers, subscribers, whatever. I suppose, you know, YouTube has been around longer. But, you know. You were promised politics and swords. Well, we haven't gotten into the politics yet. We've just been talking about what cringe is, but I can do the swords thing. I got at least one. Look. Cringy sword girl here. You can go there. Oh, I haven't got my swords on my bed like I normally put them there. Look, my sword can go here, but it'll probably knock my coffee over, so it can't stay there. How's it going, Insane? Look at my sword. Look at it. I love this thing. I adore it. I want to sharpen it and then lop off some heads. Now that's a knife. And you can't do the thing where witches have their swords slung over their back and draw the sword from the sheath. It doesn't work. I can show you. Hang on. Look at this, alright? I hope I don't smash my light doing this. Look, you strap it on. Chair, go over there. Fancy stick. I have a fancy stick. Look, 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 look. I have got frostborn, but look, even if I hold the bottom of the scabbard and I pull it down, I get to there. That's it. I can't pull it out. $10 million. I'd like $10 million. Yes, please. And then I would upgrade my stream enough to the point where I would probably get 10 million followers from having such a cool stream. And I do have Frostmourne, but it's behind Kylo Ren's lightsaber, so I'm not going to get it out. It's because my scabbard isn't oiled. Throw it out and grab it in midair. Yeah, that'd be a good idea. Do some cool points. Helpless, welcome to the Rogue Room. How you doing? In Witcher 1, Geralt grabs the blade when he unsheathes. In Witcher 3, they just let the sword clip through the sheath. I didn't know that. I think I've seen certain representations of like the sword slung over the back where it's got buckles, and as you're pulling the sword out of the sheath, it unbuckles those buckles or whatever, unbuckles those little clips or whatever. Which, I mean, I don't know how effective that would necessarily be. But yes, I do have Frostmourne over there. I could try a shorter sword. It's pretty poggers. I can't pull it out, Abby. We're not talking about my sex life. We're not doing that. Yeah, I should oil my scabbard though. Always lubricate your scabbard, folks, before you put it in. Or pull it out. Waiting to be able to actually do any work. What's the matter there? What's wrong with your work? Why is it misbehaving on you? Funny thing is that in The Witcher 1 he doesn't actually have a sheath. The blade just hovers at his back, so he needn't grab the blade at all. I hate that. I honestly hate that, like, that's a thing in World of Warcraft, for example. I don't play it anymore, but that was always a thing in World of Warcraft, or in Dragon Age in particular. Dragon Age really annoyed me, because it seemed like a game that really wanted to ground itself in, like, this brutal, real fantasy, and if you're a dual-wielding character, your dagger's just magnetized to your back as if they had developed that technology. I mean, they probably did in some capacity, but realistically speaking, wouldn't they have just developed sheaths? And they didn't. So they just strap onto your back and look stupid. Not to mention if you had, you know, powerful magnets to slap your swords onto on your back, it would make it really ineffective, I feel like. You know, all it would take is for you to have a momentary lapse in strength, and all of a sudden your opponent's already stabbed you in the gut because you're busy trying to unmagnetize your daggers from your back.
On you.
300.
Strap on daggers for the kinkiest of rogues.
Stop talking about my sex life. That's fucking cringe. Because I'm a kinky rogue, I guess. Mace space. Maces literally get pulled out of your pocket. That's why Space Marines are superior. Yeah. I like Space Marines. Would also slowly magnetize the swords. What do you mean exactly? Like, explain the... I'm like they would become magnetic over time and attract other metal. Do car photography and somebody is in your photo bay. Oh, okay, that sucks. What an asshole. Tell them to get fucked. No. Always have the bolters at hand, but if any cringe or heresy is detected. I'm just imagining a squad of Space Marines now who are not... who just refuse to use the phrase heresy and instead cringe. Then they grab their bolter and just... I actually saw on the subject of replica weapons, I did see a replica bolter available somewhere at some point. Big, bulky thing, but you could actually hold it. Like, it had a handle you could actually grab. It wasn't legitimately Space Marine sized. It was human sized. If I had the money at the time, I would have grabbed it. Or like, you know, one of my favorite guns in video games, and I'm not a gun person, says the person who used to have a significant collection of Nerf guns. Cringe. I actually sold a whole bunch of them for like $200 way back, years ago. Excuse me. What was it? The Lancer from Gears of War has always been one of my favorite gun designs. This machine gun with a chainsaw on it. What's this you sent me, Phage? Motion magnet, bar being magnetized, bar magnetized. I think I get it. I think I get it. Okay. Oh, I love chainswords. I adore chainswords. They're fucking badass. They are fucking badass, dude. Alright, so we're looking at the SM58. That might be a thing I will consider. Will that just screw on to my mic stand, or do I need one of these little doohickeys? I think I need one of these little doohickeys. That's something I'll consider. Chainswords or whips? Stop! Every time you pull the sword out. Would I be down to an open discussion podcast / stream with a few others tackle hard to talk about issues? I've considered that a few times. The problem is organization. I'm tremendously badly organized and I have so much going on in my life. And I've put the call to action out on Twitter a few times. I want to do like a queer panel discussion in particular, especially here on my stream. And I just haven't had the time to organize it. I haven't had the time to reach out to any of these streamers who are interested. Because I've got uni at the moment, I've got to be a parent half the week, I got so much else going on that it's, and you know, work. I'm actually trying to I need to set aside a day very, very soon to do my responsible service of alcohol so that I can work bar jobs, so I can be Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Thank you, Reaper. Trying to organize it yourself at the moment. Well, if it fits into my schedule, I can try to make it work. And yeah, please don't spam links. The only reason that link protection is turned off. Why is link protection turned off, actually? I should probably turn it on. It's just so if somebody has an actual good, legitimate link that I can look at, which ideally mods would veto it before or whatever the phrase is. Speaking of vetoing, Let's talk about vetoing for a moment, actually. Before we get into the cringe discussion, we'll come back to the cringe discussion because we're not done talking about cringe yet, about what cringe is. We are going to talk about politics and vetoing, and this is pretty fucking poggers. Friendos. Arkansas Republican governor vetoes anti-trans healthcare bill. Is it gonna play it? Oh, hold on a moment. I think I muted the tab. Let's go back.
I was told this week that the nation is looking at Arkansas because I have on my desk another bill passed by the General Assembly that is a product of the cultural war in America. I don't shy away from the
He is still using a lot of very obvious Republican language. The cultural war in America.
Battle when it is necessary and
it's important to note, don't get too excited. This is a good decision that he made to veto this anti-trans healthcare bill, but regrettably, this can still get overturned in the House or whatever it is. I've forgotten what the exact place is in Arkansas government. But they can still overturn his veto, which makes it completely pointless. He's the governor of the state, and he vetoed the decision, and they could just override that. Politics is dumb.
Defensible, but the most recent action of the General Assembly, while well-intended, is off course, and I must veto House Bill 1570.
Fucking yeah, so he said well-intended, but who is it well-intended for is the question I want to ask. Is he's saying well-intended, but that's the thing, the road to hell is paved with good intentions kind of thing. All the people who were well-intending with this anti-trans healthcare bill, their good intentions were to try and stop kids transitioning because they used every single negative attack on trans kids they possibly could to justify their concern about the idea of kids transitioning, the idea of kids getting healthcare and things like that. So, yeah. Anywho, simple majority to pass the bill can be vetoed by the governor. 2/3 majority to override the veto. Yes, that's basically what it is. So they need a certain majority to veto the veto, which is fucking annoying. Yeah, I think you're right, Black Cat. I think this is certainly a matter that is going for the courts. If this veto doesn't get vetoed, and i.e. the bill doesn't pass, it may even end up in the courts anyway. But if it does end up passing, it will go to court. The ACLU will get involved. Things like that are certainly going to happen. Events will transpire. Transpire. Shut up. Anyway, can we have a motion to either fix the spelling or the pronunciation of Arkansas so it makes sense? Please. Absolutely. Came across a quote: the far right convinces the broader public against the center by portraying them as leftists. Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much it. You look at the way... Noctane, hello, how you doing, lovely? That's pretty much the way that, for example, they portray socialists. You know, they'll portray socialists in a completely deceptive way. They'll portray the idea of socialism in a completely deceptive way because it suits their narrative to not tell the truth or be completely ignorant of the truth and just parrot viewpoints that are not factually backed up. Anyway, let's continue.
Signed the veto of House Bill 1570 today. I have notified the sponsors as well as the leadership in the House and Senate as well. But I wanted today to explain a little bit of the reasoning. If House Bill 1570 becomes law, then we are creating new standards of legislative interference with physicians and parents as they deal with some of the most complex and sensitive matters involving young people. It is undisputed that the population of minors who struggle with gender incongruity or gender dysphoria is an extreme minority. But while they are a minority, they deserve the guiding hand of their parents and of the healthcare professionals that their family has chosen.
But while they are a minority, I get what he's trying to say there, and he's trying to frame it in a good way, but Jesus Christ, the choice of words there is iffy. It's like the people who are experiencing gender dysphoria, young people who are experiencing gender incongruity, whatever, are a minority. But it's like, is that somehow an underhanded justification for the idea of the bill in the first place? I don't know. It's what Tim Pool does, lies by admitting certain facts, and just recently admitted, yeah, I talk shit all the time. I don't even believe most of the things I say. Yeah, I've heard him. He was talking about that recently. Yeah. Now, it's also possible that he's only doing it because he knows it'll be overwritten and it's good optics. It definitely is good optics. You know, overturning this kind of thing definitely has a lot of people looking more positively, more favorably upon him. He's trying to say that them being a minority doesn't mean they're less deserving of care. Yeah, but the way he phrased it, it's like, just because they are a minority, like it's almost like, oh, yeah, they're a minority, ew, but just because they're a minority doesn't mean they're less deserving of healthcare, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, the phrasing needs some, it needs some workshopping, I think. Anyways.
House Bill 1570 would put the state as the definitive oracle of medical care, overriding parents, patients, and healthcare experts. While in some instances the state must act to protect life, the state should not presume to jump into the middle of every medical, human, and ethical issue. This would be and is a vast government overreach. House Bill 1570 is opposed by the leading Arkansas medical associations, and the concern expressed is that denying best medical care to transgender youth can lead to significant harm to the young person, from suicidal tendencies and social isolation to increased drug use.
Increased drug use? What kind of drug use is he saying there? Because in my recent video, I'm going to do the subtle plug there, I did talk about the fact that certain trans people who cannot receive medical care do tend to go the route of buying their hormones off the internet, and as a result they don't get proper dosages. They just, figure it out themselves. They pay exorbitant costs for essentially illegal HRT. So if he's doing that using the phrase taking drugs, yeah, he's making it sound like narcotics, which it very well could be, most certainly, which is another way to demonize, another way to dehumanize.
In Arkansas, gender reassignment surgery is not performed.
As a trans person, I absolutely want to fall into a depression that results in me using coke. Let's just clarify. I want to get on the coke, bro.
On anyone under age 18. If House Bill 1570 simply prohibited gender reassignment surgeries, then I would sign the bill. But the bill to increased drug use. Transgender youth can lead to significant harm to the young person, from suicidal tendencies and social isolation to increased drug use.
Get on the beers.
In Arkansas, gender reassignment surgery is not performed on anyone under age 18.
Fucking yes. Can we get some pogs in chat that he actually outright said that? Okay, he's used a lot of language so far that has been explicitly a little bit leaning towards, who his base is. Leaning towards the right quite significantly, but he just outright shut everyone down who was saying, oh, they're going to perform gender reassignment surgery on 8-year-olds. No, the absolute cocksucking fuck they are not. And thank you, Asa Hutchinson, for actually fucking saying it. I may disagree with the guy on a political level, but holy shit. Fucking based.
If House Bill 1570 simply prohibited gender reassignment surgeries, then I would sign the bill. But the bill is overbroad, extreme, and does not grandfather those young people who are currently under hormone treatment. In other words, the young people who are currently under a doctor's care will be without treatment when this law goes into effect. That means they will be looking to the black market or go out of state if they can afford it.
Okay, so he's clarifying the black market drugs, like I mentioned before, the black market HRT. So that's good to let that out there, to make it known. If you want to protect, quite frankly, if you just want to protect the children in general, if you want to use the think of the children thing, think of the fact that if you were to restrict trans medical health care for transgender teenagers, all it's going to do is lead to people using illicit and dangerous options to get their HRT. I'm glad he's clarifying that point. Even though earlier on he did mention the drugs, which could have been vague and interpretive.
Define the treatment that they want and need. This is not the right path to put them on. Finally, I understand that the General Assembly will likely override this veto. House Bill 1570 had overwhelming support when it passed the first time, and as you know, it takes a simple majority to override the governor's veto in Arkansas.
The fact that he's elucidating that particular point worries me. Like he's almost vetoing it for good optics, but then in the same token saying, "Oh, but wink, wink, it could get overridden. Wink, wink, in the General Assembly. Wink, wink. If you know what I mean. If you know what I mean, folks. Just because I veto it, me, Governor Asa Hutchinson of Arkansas. Just because I veto it doesn't mean that it couldn't get vetoed itself. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Say no more. Say no more."
I'm hopeful, though, that my action will cause conservative Republican legislators to think through the issue again and hopefully come up with a more restrained approach that allows a thoughtful study of the science and ethics surrounding the issue before acting. Government under a conservative philosophy should be restrained. This is an example of where restraint is better than overbroad actions that interfere with important relationships.
Sorry, I keep hovering over it to pause it because this overlay is pretty shit. But yeah, he's got an actual fair point there about conservatives tend to like that whole small government and not a lot of government overreach, right? Have I got that correct?
Our society.
There we go. There we have it. Okay, so that situation has been sorted. Thank goodness.
Ron,
stop playing more videos, you dingleberry. Society. The governor called the legislation a product of the cultural war in America, adding that his veto comes even though he believes the bill was well-intended. What do we think about the idea of well-intended in that particular circumstance? Because I talked on that very briefly. How are you, Vixen? What's going on? First time you've heard a conservative saying her government in a coherent way that actually safeguards the rights of the individual over the right to oppress others. Indeed. Interesting that the way that he sort of phrased that. I certainly have a respect for the way that he's handled the situation in a lot of ways, even if I do think some of it comes across as disingenuous. He did already pass a bill, I think, in Arkansas that restricted trans kids from competing in school sports, which again is another measure of ostracism of transgender children, because school sports are fucking meaningless at the end of the day, aside from socialization. You fail to see how the bill is in any way, shape, or form well-intended. Again, like we said before, the road to hell is paved with good intentions, right? So they have good intentions in the fact that they think if they take away this transmedical healthcare, which they personally see, those who are opponents to the idea of transmedical healthcare for teenagers, they see it as something that is a decision that a teenager cannot make. They're too young, they're too inexperienced. What if they make the wrong decision? What if they ruin their entire life? What if they sterilize themselves with hormones? And then, of course, as he clarified, thankfully, I'm so glad that he clarified that anyone under the age of 18 is not receiving gender-affirming surgery. They are not getting genital reassignment surgery at all. That's not happening. But one of the arguments that was often made as, by opponents to the idea of transgender medical health care is that teenagers would be getting double mastectomies or gender confirmation surgery or anything else. And it's simply not happening. It's not an argument. And their idea, of course, their viewpoint on the whole situation is that these kids are going to be mutilating their bodies before they're old enough to actually formally, rationally think about the whole situation. The thumbnail was your shit governor, so you're here. Yes, we were just talking about how Governor Hutchinson has vetoed the anti-trans healthcare bill, which again, to come back around to it, does not necessarily mean that the bill is completely shut down. Does not mean the bill is completely not gonna happen. It could still happen. They could veto his veto, which again is dumb. Predicted during his remarks that the state's Republican-controlled General Assembly will likely override his veto, noting it only takes a simple majority to do so, which we established earlier is 2/3 of the General Assembly. So it may still pass, and my prediction is that if it does indeed pass, it will go to court. There will be civil rights organizations like the ACLU coming down hard on this, because at the end of the day, it is a measure to restrict healthcare to transgender teenagers. And as he well put out there, these kids, if they can't get their healthcare through legal means, who was it that mentioned the abortion thing? Was it you, Draco? It's the same reason why abortion needs to be legal. Pregnant people who can't get an abortion may turn to more dangerous methods to abort a pregnancy. Exactly. They will turn to... There's a number of methods. I'm not going to go into exactly what those are. But by the same token, there are transgender people now in the US who cannot get medical care, cannot get transgender medical health care, who are going the route of buying dangerous hormone replacement therapy off the internet. They're dosing themselves. They're, measuring their own dosages, injecting themselves with hormones that could be, who knows what's in them, right? There have been a number of cases crop up of people buying HRT from over the internet and finding it's not all it's cracked up to be. Just crack everyone's eggs. He didn't do it out of the goodness of his heart. Yeah, no. He did it for the good optics. Oh, yeah. Kitty cat's over there. You can see him just... That's him. That's his tail, I think. Oh, no, it's not. That's just a crease in the blanket. But that is him. He's there on the pillow. Anyway. So, a simple majority in House, simple majority in Senate, governor vetoes, simple majority of the House and Senate combined. Oh, great. Is the general path here. Do we think that's going to happen? Again, I fully believe, maybe the governor going the route of vetoing this bill might change some minds, especially with everything he said there. Might clarify some things. I do not doubt for a minute that there are people in the General Assembly who are completely convicted in their opinion of this whole situation. And as a result, they're not going to change their minds. They're not going to change their votes. But maybe the fact that the governor himself came out and just stated the facts. He did state the facts. Which is good. Which is good to clarify these things. Again, he didn't do it because he genuinely believes that vetoing the bill is the best decision, but he definitely did it to look better in the eyes of the general public. He knew it didn't end with his veto, so he did it for show. 100% a Republican. Oh, yeah, absolutely. My thought process watching that video is this guy is absolutely a showman. Absolutely well aware that he's simply trying to garner support from both sides of the equation here. The 2/3 makes more sense where enough of the representatives believe in it that the chief executive's opinion shouldn't matter. There we go. And even if he's just doing it to look good, if he's doing good, you're going to be grateful for the good done. Yes. That's the tricky thing. Sorry, I'm choking up again. That is the tricky thing, the double-edged sword. I got a sword. It's not a double-edged sword, but I have swords. I like swords. Anyway. What was I going to say? Okay. Excuse me while I stumble all over my words for a moment. On the one hand, yes, he's putting out the actual informed information. Informed information, yes. The educated information that actually abides by everything we know, abides by everything we are aware of with regards to trans medical healthcare for teenagers. And on the other hand, he is being deceptive because he wants to, I don't know, perhaps look better for re-election at some point, or just generally keep his position and not rile up opponents to his particular political stances, rile up Democrats in his state. Stop following US politics due to mental health and anxiety, and you feel like you're missing out on so much info. Yeah, you're not missing out on much. At least it seems to have reasonably calmed down with regards to the fact that Trump is no longer in office. There's still a bunch of dumb shit going on, and we are going to talk about it. There's more dumb shit with Matt Gaetz, if you want to listen to that. I wouldn't want to listen to that, but you should stick around to support me anyway, because I'm awesome and very, very sexy. So anyway, I'm going to say that my cat is based. He is indeed. Can we get some based cat in chat? You can't really see him there. He's up at the top corner there. There he is. I could like... Again, hang on. Sorry, I just needed to get his attention. There you go, you can see him now. Hello. Based cat, based cat. There's so much stuff backed up over 5 years that it's still a ton. Oh yeah, oh yeah. There's no longer the cacophony of Trump news drowning out the other stuff, yeah. Based cat. Can we get some based cat in chat? Sneaky void on the bed. There him is. I think he's annoyed with me because he's just staring over here now. He's like, you knew I was asleep, you little shit. Look at him. Hello, cat. Anywho, what's up, War Machine? We're just talking about the fact that the Arkansas Republican Governor Asa Hutchinson vetoed the anti-trans healthcare bill in Arkansas, conveniently enough. So yeah, it's good. It all seems pretty good that it's being vetoed, but like we mentioned, the General Assembly minority will invariably probably veto his veto, and then it's not going to go anywhere. It's going to get passed into law, most likely, and make things worse for trans kids in Arkansas. And there are numerous other states passing similar bills, if I'm not mistaken. Both you and your wife used to smoke, not anymore. Now we only have one cigarette after sex. Trouble is, you've been on the same pack since 2004. Meanwhile, she's up to 2 packs a week. Oh, Lord. Anyway, okay. Hutchinson's move comes as Republican politicians across the country push anti-trans legislation and is seemingly at odds with the governor's public stance on the issue in recent weeks, as he approved a separate bill last month that bans trans girls and women from participating in school sports consistent with their gender identity, and another bill that allows healthcare workers to refuse performing non-emergency procedures, that go against their religious or moral beliefs. That one can get right fucked. Thank you for the posture check. I really should put like a big cool down on the posture check thing, because my posture is fine, thank you very much. Anyway, healthy posture, please. He did this sort of thing during the summer during the protest. He met with activists and community organizers at our capital to discuss police brutality and rejected just about everything they asked for him to consider. Simple things, he only met with them for show and didn't end up actually doing anything. Also, he would have the state police show up to peaceful protests and then give one warning, then just surround them and gas them and such, that way that the protest would look violent. Oh, God. Yeah, he definitely seems like a deceptive kind of person. He's a Republican. Who's shocked by this? Who is at all shocked by, a Republican being a deceptive piece of shit? LGBTQ and medical advocates had lobbied aggressively against HB 1570, which they feared could have significant impacts on trans youth who have much greater risk of suicide, according to the US CDC. However, if they have access to a puberty blocker, their chances of suicide and mental health problems in the immediate term and down the road decline significantly. A study the CDC published in January of 2020 found, because if they have the opportunity to get on puberty blockers, there you go, then it allows them to feel more at peace with their gender. It allows them to feel more at peace with themselves, and as a result, probably makes them a little bit more confident in their social environment. One of the big reasons that suicide happens in general, not just among teenagers, but one of the big reasons that suicide happens is that people feel ostracized for one reason or another. They feel like they don't have a place in the world, and that they feel there's no hope for them to gain a place in the world. So they end up ending their own lives because they just feel so detached from the rest of society, And when it comes to ostracism, or when it comes to being told you cannot be who you are, then that makes that matter that much worse. I just want people to not like forget things and start praising him and such. Yeah, it's good to keep on top of this information. I didn't know any of that. So thank you for bringing that to my attention, Anarchy, honestly. I should keep more on top of what's going on with regards to my state government, actually. It'd be good to be well aware of this kind of stuff, you know, even to report on it personally. Because I know Gladys Berejiklian, the Australian Premier of New South Wales, is not a good sort, from what I've heard, but I'm not quite sure what she's been up to of late. It's a perfect explanation, excuse me, of the suicidal mindset. I love what I've read about Emile Durkheim's suicide, and I want to actually read the book itself. At some point I'm going to have to, because everything that I have seen summed up about suicide, the book, not the actual act, sounds very appealing from a reading perspective. So I'm going to have to find a copy of it at some point. I wonder if my library has it. My university library might have a copy of it. Because it's a topic I'm morbidly interested in a lot of ways. Like, I want to be more aware of everything in that whole space, if that makes sense. But yeah, there's that. Do we have any final thoughts, aside from the fact that Asa Hutchinson is probably being as deceptive as he possibly could be? Hashtag koala killer. We could talk about the koala killer if you want. She hasn't really done anything interesting lately. It's mostly COVID stuff. A whole book about suicide. Yeah, true. It would be pretty intense. It talks about the different notions of what... it talks about more than just ending one's own life, though, is the thing. Let's go back to this again, because I've talked about this before. I've talked about Emile Durkheim's Suicide, A Study in Sociology. And the type of suicide... Oh, Rooster!
Guests.
Hello, Raiders. You know what? I haven't been doing this for a while, so let's do this. Let's do this right quick. Let's do this right quickly, like, folks. Thank you for the raid. Thank you, Raiders. Welcome to the Rogue Room, which is now in party mode, because you're here. Is that... There we go, party mode. It's raid mode, I think. Yeah, that works. What do you think? Raid Shadow Legends. Is that one red? No, that one's... Where's red? I want to know what red is, because I want to set up a different scene. Thank you so kindly for the raid. Rooster, how did your stream go? Tell us all about it. What'd you get up to? Friendo, what's going on? Check this out. All my lights are off. I love having smart lights, man. I adore it. It's fantastic. It's fun. I highly advocate you get at least 3 smart lights. I wanted to do something, though, really quickly. Okay. This is Angie Abbey. This is Angry Abbey. This is my angry rogue room mode. I'm not angry at you, Rooster. I appreciate the raid so much. But I wanted to set this up. I was vaguely inspired by Jordan's big man bit. It's like we got a big man in the chat, and I wanted to do, you know, if I get a particular troll I want to respond to, I want to switch on Angie mode. But how do I save this? Save this scene as Angie. I'm so dumb. Anyway, let's switch back to this. I just hit the microphone again. There we go. Not Jordan Peterson's penis. Goodness, no. I don't want to know what kind of mushroom he's got going on down there. Anyway. Been streaming Outriders. How have you found it? How have you found Outriders? We were just about to talk about Suicide by Emile Durkheim. Getting tired and frustrated with the missions they had to stop. I heard somebody refer to it as something like Gears of War mixed with Destiny. Does that at all sound vaguely familiar? I don't know. Which sounds kind of neat. I might give it a look at some point. I've not actually looked into Outriders at all, because as far as I know, it's one of those live servicey games, so not typically something I'm hugely fussed about, but I might give it a look at some point. I've heard the reviews are mixed. It's got mixed reviews at the moment on Steam. There was one phrase that I recall seeing. It was a tweet someone posted, that was like, Outriders will have you quickly figuring out who the fourth man in your gaming group is. Who's the fourth wing, or whatever, fourth wheel. It's a 3-player game. Anyway, need a disco ball dropping down, shooting out confetti. If only I could get some graphics going on this stream. I really should. I've been incredibly lazy. Anyway, looks and plays like a Destiny clone. You're also burned out of dungeon crawlers. I can understand that completely. Mammoth, hello, how you doing? Hello, Unicorn, what's going on? You got your favorite blanket. Turns out it's also your cat's favorite. That's fucking adorable. Smudge likes my pillow at the moment. Look at him. He likes sleeping on my pillow at the moment. He's living for it. As you so eloquently put it, 5 parts like to 8 parts dislike to 87%, to 87 pure uncut apathy. That is certainly a way to look at it. Yes, cat. Let's just remind everyone that I do have a pet. I have at least one pet. And he is there. Again, let me get his attention. Hold on. I should stop teasing him. It's this, by the way. It's a laser pointer. He knows the clicking sound of the laser pointer. So when I click the button on it, he's like, whoa! Is it laser time? The demo did not wow you, especially when an NPC had the same model I did. Well, that's disappointing. It looks like Gears from what you've seen. Super repetitive gameplay, though. What was it about Gears of War that was actually... I don't know what it was that kept me hooked on it for so long. Because when you think about it, like, realistically speaking, every game has got repetitive gameplay. It reminds me of, like, when I was in the car with my dad and my sister recently. We were listening to my Synthwave playlist. And my dad made the comment of, like, this music is very repetitive. And it's like... Literally all of music is repetitive. Music is repetition. What point are you making? It's not a point. And in the same way, like, video games, by and large, are hugely repetitive. That's the point of them, you know? But I suppose, you know, as you progress through the game is supposed to slowly diverge from the basic thing at the beginning of it and then evolve to something more interesting. And, you know, you're supposed to keep the players on their toes, keep changing up mechanics, so that throughout the experience, you're not doing exactly the same thing, right? Wouldn't like your feedback streams. It's so tropey. Was a good stream getting closer to your goal? Good shit. Love to hear it. Love to hear it. Unless it's Halo 1, you get given the best weapon in the game at the start. I remember that. I've never actually gotten super into Halo, but I do remember the story of how the pistol is one of the best guns in the game. Repetition legitimizes? Legitimizes what? Had great shooting galleries, but the reload beat game. Oh yeah, true. The reload thing was awesome. Meredith, welcome to the Rogue Room. How are you doing? How you doing, friend? Swarm after swarm type of deal. I think there's a careful balance. I've noticed there are certain games, especially shooters, where if they throw too many enemies at you, you know, you could make a oh god, I hate this song. No, fuck off. Hello from Melbourne. Well, hello from near Sydney. How you going? There's a certain finesse, certain fine tuning I've found with regards to enemy placement, enemy variety, enemy amount in any given game that focuses on combat. You know, if you put me in a room with too many enemies, then that mechanic, like then that concept of having a mass of enemies to deal with is just exhausting, and I don't want to do it. I don't want to play anymore. If your game just keeps increasing the amount of people I have to kill in a certain shooting gallery section, I get bored with your game and I don't want to play it anymore. You know, introduce new mechanics that make the game more interesting. Don't throw more and more and more enemies at me because it becomes tedious. I don't want to play a game that's tedious. Sandbox and combat loop, I suppose. You hated the story and the gameplay wasn't particularly satisfying. Do you mean Gears or do you mean the new one that we're talking about? The Uncharted games were always great at not feeling repetitive. Strangely enough, I've never finished an Uncharted game. I've played a fair chunk of the first one, but I just never stick with it. I've been unable to stick with Uncharted for some reason. I love the whole idea of Indiana Jones, and also who mentioned Indiana did something. The state of Indiana did something, and I forgot what it was because it got lost in everything that we were talking about. Also, Cake, the leader of the Labour Party in the UK, has just apologised for visiting and endorsing a church that promotes conversion therapy. I saw that story. Have you got a link, Cake, to an article on that? Because I'd like to talk about that. And I forgot what the Indiana thing was. Sorry. But I like the idea of, basically Indiana Jones, the video game, and that's what Uncharted is supposed to be, and yet I can't stick with it. For reasons that elude me. I love Indiana Jones. I think they're a fantastic series of movies. I love Harrison Ford, for example, but I just could not stick with those games to save my life. Get pistol, kill elites, find ammo, repeat. Yeah, pretty much. When a game is perfectly balanced as all things should be, like Dark Souls up until after Anor Londo. Once you get to Anor Londo, you've reached the peak of the game. The only thing you have to look forward to past that point is the kiln of the first flame. That's pretty much it. Oh, the mask mandate. Indiana removed the mask mandate. How are their COVID cases? How are the COVID cases in Indiana? Because if things are trending downward, I can see a reason for that. Labour is so embarrassing. Labour is our, well, I don't want to say they're our left-wing party here in Australia. But they're our, right-of-centre party in Australia. Whereas the Liberal Party is our far-right Nazi party. Well, no, I suppose One Nation is our Nazi party. That's kind of sad to say. We have a Nazi party in Australia. And they're probably funded by the ACL, the Australian Christian Lobby, who are outright fascists. Jordan Betty Peterson. We're not doing Star Trek and Jordan Peterson again. Okay, Labour Party, Keir Starmer, Jesus House. Oh yeah, Jesus House. God, he's an ugly bloke. He's not a handsome bloke, is he? I mean, I'm just looking at him now, just a glance. I'm like, mate, you're not a looker, are you? He's not a looker. Anyway, I'm just going to insult his appearance. Labour leader Keir Starmer condemned after visit to notoriously homophobic church, Jesus House. Labour leader Keir Starmer is facing backlash after he visited a notoriously anti-LGBT plus church in London. Starmer visited Jesus House on Friday, the 2nd of April, and shared details of his trip on Twitter, prompting a wave of fury from LGBT plus Labour Party members. In a video posted to Twitter, Keir Starmer praised Jesus House as a wonderful example of a church serving their community. And they very well could be, is the thing. There's nothing to suggest that Jesus House is not serving their community and doing a good job of it, but if serving their community means ostracizing LGBT plus individuals, we have a problem. Anyway, coming back to this. It's been great to meet young people and church leaders here at Jesus House to talk about how to address inequalities and injustices that this crisis has so brutally exposed, Starmer said, referring to the coronavirus pandemic. The Labour leader quickly faced a furious backlash from LGBT plus people, with many drawing attention to Jesus House's track record of anti-LGBT plus views and actions. So there we go. We'll come back to this in a moment. Good morning. Looks like you're just in time for Jesus House. Jesus House. So it's a very queer, exclusionary church in the UK that have explicitly used their position to push anti-LGBT plus views. And Keir Starmer, the leader of the Labour Party in the UK, has visited the church and has said good things about Jesus House, which has obviously prompted fury from LGBT plus Labour Party members. Anyway. In 2009, Christian website Ecclesia alleged that Jesus House, which is part of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, that all seems so redundant, had carried out exorcisms on people who are sexually attracted to members of their own sex, i.e. conversion therapy. Jesus House denied the allegations. In 2006, Jesus House pastor Agu Iruku signed a letter to the Daily Telegraph opposing laws that would protect LGBT plus people from discrimination, saying such regulations would force Christians in churches, business, charities, and informal associations to accept and even promote the idea that homosexuality is equal to heterosexuality, because it fucking is. In 2013, Iruku signed a letter to the Telegraph which claimed marriage is and always will be distinctively a union between a man and a woman. Fuck, biblical marriage. Oh, God. Biblical marriage. You know how many different types of marriages there have been? I'm trying to find it right now, actually.
I see you.
Oh my goodness, Kiara, thank you so kindly for the raid. Welcome, raiders.
Friends.
Hold on a moment before we continue on with our story about Keir Starmer being a shit cunt. It's raid time. What's up, raiders? What's up, danger? What's up, raiders? Welcome to the Rogue Room. Mulga, how you going? Welcome, raiders. How's it hanging? What'd you stream? What'd you get up to? Tell us all about it, please, before we go back to Keir Starmer being a homophobe, pretty much. It's a raid of strings. For some reason, shit cunt. Did I say shit cunt? I probably did say shit cunt, let's be honest. A bit of philosophy. I've got to turn that one off, honestly. We've gone through that whole book at this point. I feel like I'm just repeating myself. Shunts. Can't have a lord as the leader of the Labour Party. We're on this story, and then we'll come back to the philosophy thing after that. Pretending to monopolize long-term personal relationships between people. Reaper. There you go. And indeedy. This is our raid scene now. This is what we're doing. Just chatting through about junk food. Sandra Bullock killing people with a lightsaber. Wait, is this really a thing? Are you serious? Is there Sandra Bullock killing people with a lightsaber, or have you just made that up and now got me all hyped over nothing? Please tell me that's a real thing. Can someone time out Mammoth for 1 minute, please? I want to see Sandra Bullock massacring people with a lightsaber, dude. That sounds badass. Can we get some pog in chat for murderous Sandra Bullock Jedi? Like Grey Jedi kind of situation? You gotta do /timeout. Mammoth 60S, and then it times them out for 60 seconds. Enjoy that. Enjoy sitting in the corner, Mammoth, you loser. Sitting over in the corner being a loser. Mammoth basket. Enjoy. I love you. Anyway. Anyways, let's come back to this for a second. We're not done with this yet. Labour MP. Furthermore, the Redeemed Christian Church of God has claimed in Sunday school materials that Christians should help gay people repent their sexuality and described homosexuality as a sin that needs to be dealt with. Labour MP Kate Osborne disappointed by Keir Starmer visit to Jesus' house. Keir Starmer faced criticism from Labour members for the visit, with many questioning why he would visit the church when Theresa May faced stinging backlash for a similar incident in 2017. Which one's Theresa May? Theresa May. Her. Okay, I'm thinking of someone else. Alright, Labour MP Kate Osborne said she was very disappointed by the decision. Jesus House have a history of supporting conversion therapy. Conversion therapy, very, very bad, by the way. And general intolerance towards LGBT plus people. People. Queer singer-songwriter Grace Petrie said she doesn't share other people's faith that the visit was an accident. Oh, it absolutely was not an accident. While countless others weighed in on their reactions to the visit. Never want to hear about Starmer being a human rights lawyer again. Zero integrity and embarrassment to the profession. How this even happened, let alone how it's not been deleted and apologized for yet, is beyond me. Maybe it has been. Yep, it's been deleted by this point, so you can't actually watch the video. And it's just a bunch of people. Yeah, you get the idea at this point. Pink News has contacted Jesus House for comment. So you get the point. A guy who is the leader of the Labour Party who just went on. Why the hell is Muslim an auto-modded word? Can you stop? Auto-mod, you fucking wanker. Anyway. Stupid system. I swear I turned off auto-mod. Anyway. So there we have it. Keir Starmer, the leader of the Labour Party in the UK, went to a homophobic, transphobic, queerphobic church and announced that it was a great visit and everyone there was fantastic and doing so much for their community, and everyone was like, well, the fuck they're not, mate. No, the fuck they ain't. Given that they are quite outwardly proponents of conversion therapy, which, for those of you who missed it, conversion therapy is outright a form of torture to try to convert people away from being gay, being trans, being anything, any kind of queer. They don't want the queers to exist. And the thing is, it doesn't work. By any stretch of the imagination, there is no evidence to suggest that conversion therapy, i.e. torture, works. All it does is induce PTSD in people that have gone through it. That's the ultimate outcome. You end up physically and emotionally punishing somebody for something that is innate to them. And the result is they have abuse responses for the rest of their life. Congratulations. Good job. Jesus house. Anyway. Let's come back a bit. This is the United States of America, not the United States of Christianity. Well, this is the UK, but, you know. You're the only one getting Final Solution vibes? Oh, no. Absolutely. It's Nazi as all hell. Fox, did you get flipped off? There you go. Now you did. Let's come back. It was a dream you had, but she was a bad guy. That sucks. Now I want Sandra Bullock as, like, a Sith lady. Can we get Sandra Bullock as a Sith lady? Let me just post a tweet really quickly. There we go. Here's a tweet for you. Bam. Can we get Sandra Bullock as a Sith lady? Thank you. You have taken control. Draw it for me. Yeah, Flintlock, draw it. Absolutely. You have a queer joke for you. Oh, I've seen this one. How do non-binary samurai kill their enemies? They slash them. I'm totally going to buy a katana. I am totally going to buy a katana. Somebody stop me from buying weeb shit, dude. The Bible said lots of weird shit. Christians make a weird hyperfixation on the sexual parts for some reason. Oh, they do. They do. It's all about control. Christianity always has been and always will be about control. Cringe. Buying a katana, cringe. Cringe. Get some cringe in chat. Let's go back a little bit. Let's keep going back because I got off on a tangent there and I missed a whole bunch of chat. Sorry. The verse in the Bible used to say a man shouldn't lay with a boy like a woman, so pedophilia, but it was mistranslated / written wrong when updating it once. Yeah, and that was not unintentional by any stretch of the imagination. I refuse to believe they changed that particular text and somehow mucked it up by accident, conveniently. No, homophobia is deeply entrenched in the Christian religion. It definitely is. Bring back Corbyn. What's the deal with Corbyn? I don't know what the deal with Corbyn is. Keir Starmer, who, by the way, when JKR and her army of TERFs were abusing trans people online, went on the radio to demand that people on all sides stop throwing stones. Yeah. I hate that whole both sides thing. It's like there's one side that's being abused and there's another side that are abusers. You know? Do not side with the abusers. It's kind of that whole zero tolerance policy thing with regards to like high schools or schools in general. You know, a kid is being bullied routinely and then both kids end up being punished for it. But like, you know, the victim is not allowed to fight back, and if they do fight back, they face harsher punishment than the bully who was doing the bullying in the first place. And that's exactly what the situation with the TERFs is. You know, we get the brunt of it for snapping back at transphobes online. You know, somebody stop me buying from weeb shit. She says to a crowd of weebs. Yeah, it's because they want to control women. They've detected cringe. Was that recent sword? It's not the silver sword. It's Ciri's sword from The Witcher. Let me bring it up. So I've got... where is it? Where is it? This is... Well, this is one that somebody has made, actually. Oh my god. Can you like... Here we go. Here's a picture. I'm trying to find a picture. That's not from the game. Here we go. This looks like a good picture that you can compare to. Can I just like open the image in a new tab? I don't think this is from the actual game. This looks like a mod from another game. That's not even a good shot. Dude, fucking hell. I'm trying to show you this photo here. As you can see. Can I open that in a new tab? There you go. There's the sword that I've got, right? There you go. It's got a scabbard. But like, as you can see, I have got a sword in it. It's awesome. It's so fucking cool. I love it. I'm living for this. No, the blade is not sharp, but the end, honestly, you could pierce someone's skin with that. It is really like, it's to a point. That is to a point. If you were to jab someone hard enough with that, you'd pierce the skin. I don't know if you would go deep, but you'd pierce the skin with the end of that if you were to jab someone with it, definitely. But anyway, there you go. Poggers! I am now a dimension-traveling magical girl with a sword. Our nails match. Fuck yeah. That is some sword. I like it. I love it. I live for it. I just want to leave it there next to my desk. I was always magical. Thank you. Phase Gangweed! What's going on? Do we literally live in a society? I think we literally live in a society. Well, there's swords in the books are made so that only the tips are used, so intentional design choice? Quite possibly, yeah. Quite possibly. I like how the end of the sword, like... I'm gonna ruin the sword design for myself now. It looks like the London Underground symbol at the top. Am I a Brit bonger for having Ciri's sword now? Let me see. Let me get a look at it. Yeah, the underground tube sign. Like... Oh my god, look at that. That's atrocious. Like, if you hold it sideways. Don't interpret this in a weird way, okay? Like... But like... Hey, governor! I'm gonna hunt some monsters on your tube, innit? After I've had me baked beans for breakfast. We can make fun of British people. It's okay. I stem from British descent, so I'm allowed to make fun of British people. I sound exactly like Siri. I've forgotten what her voice sounds like. British people cringe. You got a license for that dagger, eh? Can name it after your favourite tube station. Sound like you're from London, eh? If a British person finds that offensive, they're simply a cunt. Dude, I love when people try to do an Australian accent, when they try to mock Australians. It's fucking hilarious, because they never get it right. Not that I'm really getting it right. I'm doing an exaggerated British accent here. But whenever somebody who's not Australian tries to mock the Australian accent, I lose my shit. It's fucking great. I love it. Although I found that... I don't know if it's just me that hears it. I don't know if I'm the only one that can hear this, but I feel, personally, when I speak in an accent that is not Australian, and I try my damnedest to be as feminine as I possibly can in that accent, it sounds a lot more girly than my typical Australian accent. Which is off-putting, to be quite honest, because putting on a fake accent all the time is exhausting, but it also makes me sound a lot more girly than bloody Australian fucking garbage. Oh, Mr. Darcy, I dare say I rather like this voice. Oh, Mr. Darcy, I dare say I rather like this voice, innit? Crikey. Here, I'm just going to try to do my best, I'm just gonna do my best Australian accent. Hey, mate. How the bloody hell are you? Going to put some Vegemite on my shrimp that I put on the Barbie, eh? Mate? There's my interpretation of an American trying to do an Australian accent from an Australian person. What are we doing? My favorite conspiracy theory is that Australia isn't real and it was made up by Britain to cover up the mass murder of their criminal population. No, you figured it out. We don't actually exist. I'm a very elaborate VTuber, basically. You sound like a Canadian, or Jordan Peterson, who is a Canadian. Hello, it's Kermit the Frog here, which is the name I have recently changed. I've recently changed my name to Kermit the Frog, as I found the name Jordan Peterson to be a little bit too on the nose. Anywho, the transgenders are particularly a problematic part of society. No, wait, Jordan Peterson would never use the phrase problematic, would he? He would hate the word problematic. I hate to break it to you, but Jordan Peterson and Kermit the Frog have exactly the same voice. They do. The Americans slightly piss me off with their generalizations of British people, but Australians are part of the Commonwealth and don't have independence from us. Yeah, we are. We're definitely British Texans, quite frankly. We're literally just British Texans, that's it. There has been discussion around turning Australia into a republic and seceding from the UK. I think that's come up a few times in recent times. Yes, what? Yeah, what? You what, mate? Gene, welcome to the Rogue Room. How are you, mate? How goes it? If you ever went into engineering, problematic sounds like something you would make. It'd do its best, but would never make problems. No, that's exactly why problematic exists. You know what annoys me, though? You know what really irritates me? Is now that you've said going into engineering, you've just reminded me of that fuck-awful kids show that we mentioned recently on stream. We mentioned Rusty Rivets. We were talking about what are good kids shows and what are bad kids shows. And Rusty Rivets came up, and the moment I told you all to look up Rusty Rivets, so many people came back and were like, this is the worst shit I've ever seen on television. And it is. Unironically, Rusty Rivets is one of the worst fucking kids shows I've ever seen. As a parent, as a person who consumes media in general, I fucking loathe that show. Which focuses on a little boy genius who always happens to come across problems that he conveniently solves with wildly outlandish gadgets. It's fucking stupid. I hate it. Used to hate the word problematic, but now you've come to view it as a simple one-word way to imply a thing has issues with race, gender, or sexuality. Yes, pretty much. Pretty much. America has many regional accents. It does. And welcome to the Rogue Room. Yeah, America's one of those ones where, like, let's just say, for example, if I were to do what I consider to be my typical American accent. This is largely something from, generally speaking, the Los Angeles area. Or influenced on those kinds of voices because they're the most common American accents that I tend to hear. So my impression of those particular accents stems from people from that region. I couldn't do some of the more elaborate things, like from Southern America or New York, for example. I feel like I've lost a bit of my my talent for this. America has regional accents. The difference with the UK is that the regional accents are a 20-minute drive from each other. These are the platforms you're gonna buy. You really like them. Let me have a look. Oh, Demonia. I love Demonia. Oh my goodness, those are nice. Hey, get the... We ship to Australia. I know that, fuckwit. Those are nice. I like those. Those are some nice Demonias. Shaker 52s. I'm really trying to find some denim shoes lately. I want to get a pair of denim shoes. What about the kangaroo holocaust of Skippy where they literally killed kangaroos? Oh my goodness. I didn't know that. I could have gone the rest of my life not knowing that. Oh, ew. Platforms. I hate how easy it is for everyone else to know how to do a US accent, but Americans cannot do anyone else's accent. I wonder why that is. I mean, I suppose it could stem from the fact that, of course, US accents, again, would come back around to the fact that there are such a variety of those from different regions within America. So you could interpret it as this person is from America, but I don't know what region they're from, for example. And in the same vein, I don't know specifically what region this particular accent would come from with regards to the United Kingdom. It sounds like I'm from the United Kingdom when I put on this particular accent, but I don't know what region it would be from. Plenty of Americans can do accents. A lot of us just flaunt shitty ones. Yeah, that's also the thing too, isn't it? It's like, Let me think, hey, I'm gonna go watch the baseball and I'm gonna get myself a hot dog. I can do a shitty American accent. Duh. I prefer to show off the ones where I think I sound good. I hate kangaroos, but let's not genocide them. The emus, on the other hand. We're free to genocide the emus. Let's go kill some fucking emus. This war isn't over. It's Boston. Did I do a Boston accent? Don't let the emus hear that. Let them come. I've got swords. The channel point redeemed to have you do an entire stream in that accent. Goodness no. You know why? Because that'd be fucking cringe. We're going to talk about cringe after the break. We're not going to do cringe just yet. We're going to talk about cringe after the break. Pictures an emu wielding a sword with their neck. The emus did win. The emus won, and now there is a video game that humans made. I don't know why they made a game about a war that they lost, but an Australian game studio has made Emu War, or Emu Wars, the video game. I think it's in Greenlight or whatever it is. The Great Emu War, it's free apparently. Oh no, this isn't it. No, this isn't the one I was thinking of. No. Yeah, there's a game called Emu War, ! Human versus Emu campaign, this one. And it's about as ridiculous as you can expect, honestly. Early access game, and this one, if I'm not mistaken, Hermit Mode is an Australian developer who are working on this. So if you want to go support that, it's $14.50 on Steam at the moment. It's in early access. You can go give that a look. I'm not going to play it, but it looks amusing. US companies make Vietnam games. Well, true. It's all the films and TV we grow up with American accents. That's very true, Chokin. We do tend to have a lot of American media. Like, my daughter's already doing it. She does the American accent thing. My son, who's only just turned 5, has done it on occasion. Can actually shoot up an emu farm on the original Postal. Yeah, we lost the Emu War. We had a whole breakdown on the Emu War on stream recently. We went and read the whole Wikipedia article about it. We learned a bit of history about Australia's worst historical military loss. And yes, I do indeed mean military loss. We had soldiers going to fight the emus with guns. With guns. They were fighting the emus with guns and they were losing. How do you lose to emus when you have firearms? Robert Smith. Who's Robert Smith? Who's Robert Smith? I'm trying to think, who is that? Why do I feel like I know that name? Who's Da Baby? I don't know who that is. Your accent you describe as relatively neutral. You grew up in the rural south here, so you can do a really good heavy southern accent, but really you speak with all sorts of different accents from things you picked up from film, the internet, and historical writings that have played a big part in how you say things. Spending years reading old British sources will have you saying some odd things without realizing it. That's an interesting point you've mentioned, actually, there, Tom Badills. Like, say 40 years ago, 30 years ago even, just before the internet was commonplace. We've had television for the longest bloody time, but there's always been, say, local television. You'd get local news from a local news station and things like that. But with the advent of the internet, a lot of our sources of media, a lot of our sources of information have become conflated. Is that the word? Like, they've all sort of amalgamated. All of a sudden, we have access to a number of different, easily accessible sources of media, news, like different videos, music, all this kind of stuff in the last 20, 30 years specifically. Whereas going back far enough, those regional dialects that we talked about earlier, those regional accents, regional manners of speaking, slang, and all of this kind of stuff was a lot more, I don't want to use the phrase segregated because segregated is intentional separation, but people in a small town in Arkansas, bit of a throwback, would have a different regional dialect. Yeah, I suppose isolated would be a way to phrase it, than someone who's living in Maine, for example. The way that people would speak, the accent in Maine would be different from someone who is in a small town in Arkansas. I don't know anything about Arkansas or Maine for that matter. Just that Stephen King never writes a book that's not set in Maine. Anyway, that was a jab. That was a joke. But anyway, so in that regard, I think a lot of people, especially a lot of younger people nowadays, would have their speaking patterns and their accent and all of that. Like I mentioned before, I grew up with American television, and as a result, I practiced American accents throughout my life. So it's almost second nature in a way to be able to switch that on, even if it's not perfect. But I can, I can just switch that on a whim. And my kids are doing it too, because they watch a lot of TV shows, a lot of kids shows that have American characters in them. And in some cases English, but they never emulate, say, Thomas the Tank Engine. They prefer to emulate, I don't fucking know, some other American shows for whatever reason. And it's interesting to see how the media that we consume, especially in the modern day, especially with things being as globalized as they are in that regard, can influence our speech patterns and the manner in which we elucidate certain things. Hell, the fact that I use the phrase elucidate so often stems from Dark Souls. Ah, chosen undead, shall I elucidate your fate? Yes, Kingseeker Frampt, you may, so that I can take that word out of you and put it in my vocabulary quite nicely. I like that word a lot. Dark Souls!
Another round on you.
Rooster, thank you so kindly for the 10 bits. Have an awesome stream. Time for you to go to sleep. Have a good sleep, friend. Thank you so kindly for the raid as well. You have a lovely night. You wonderful person, you. Practiced American accents for acting purposes. Now you're transitioning. You can't do a feminine US standard accent. I can't really either, honestly. I need to take up vocal training. I really do. I hate the way my voice sounds. I genuinely hate the way my voice sounds. What am I doing talking to Frampt? Doing a first playthrough. That's what I'm doing. Or just speedrunning. I don't care if I have to go to Frampt or what's it called? Hang on. The cringy phrase I started saying, ironically, me knowing it's about to become a genuine part of my vocabulary. True! Unironically true. Definitely. I have done this so fucking much, dude. Like, I've made jokes in the past about, like, the cat ears thing. I always thought, the cat ears thing was kind of silly and stupid. And now there's a store near me that sells cute cat ears, and they got little jingly bells on them, like the ones that Midnight Emmy has. And I'm like, I kind of want to get a pair of those because they're cute. Yeah, poggers, pog, all of that. I ironically say that now. And I feel like such a cringy piece of shit for doing it, but I'm like, fuck it, this is my vocabulary now. Relative means of communication between social groups is to a large degree responsible for the scale and complexity of cultural groups available for Homo sapiens. There we go. All my rules are too much pressure. I drastically cut down the amount of rules I had. I used to have way more. Yeah, cat ears. Cringe. We'll talk about cringe. Don't worry, we'll talk about cringe. What do you mean my rules are too much pressure, huh? Do I need to get the sword out? Do I need to get the sword out and spank you with it? I can spank you with it because it's like blunt. You can't stab anyone. Well, you could stab someone with it. We established you could stab someone with it. Probably. If you had enough force behind it. If someone cringes at my cat ears, they're really just asking me to nya. Uwu. Super hacking valid uwu. Don't know what poggers means or how it's used. Generally means good. The term pog comes from play of the game, referring to stuff like Overwatch, for example. There's more. Like, I think the phrase pog is earlier than Overwatch, but the general idea is, pog is supposed to be that big exciting moment that's the play of the game, P-O-G. Ignore the T for some reason. And over time, it got expanded to poggers for some reason, which became a heavy part of the Twitch nomenclature. And, yeah, I guess that's just where it is right now. There's also PogChamp, which got changed. PogChamp, which was used as an expression of excitement and things like that. No, it actually didn't come from Pogs. Funnily enough, it did not come from Pogs. Which I can forgive you for thinking it would, because, yeah, that would make the most logical sense. But, yeah, Poggers is now this kind of expression of excitement, or like, this is really good and cool, basically. So, you know, I have said it IRL a few times among people who are not familiar with the whole, what's it called? Who are not familiar with streamer culture. You already broke a rule. How'd you break a rule? Promise not to break the rules. So you feel nervous. You can't promise not to break the rules. You gotta try not to break the rules. They're pretty simple. I mean, what are they set to at the moment? Let me have a look. Stay on topic. Oh, yeah. Well, that's generally when we're, like, on an actual topic. We're not really at the moment. We're just rambling for the minute. We're going to take a break shortly. We're going to take a quick 5-minute break in about a few minutes. And then we're going to come back and discuss cringe. I want to talk about cringe. And this particular article, which is a few years old, but the subject of cringe never goes away. But there's this article I want to talk about, the upside of awkwardness. Writer Melissa Dahl explains why we cringe and why it can be a good thing. Of course, if you've watched ContraPoints' video on cringe itself, that's a good one. That's worth watching. But I don't know why I've been thinking about this today. I've been thinking about the concept of cringe. I've been thinking about the idea of particularly furries. I've been particularly thinking about the idea of furries today. And how we look at someone who has a fursuit, someone who has a fursona, and on a social level, there's a lot of people who will look at those who are furries, who identify themselves as furries, and say they're particularly cringy. And, you know, generally speaking, the reason that they do that is because they're largely exposed to the particularly cringy ones. Hello, Commie Scum, how you doing? You're old and not a gamer. I'm barely a gamer at this point. Look at all these games I've got and all this gaming memorabilia and shit. And I barely even touch the fucking things. Furries make the internet go round. Sargon, or the Lotus Eater, as he's known now, is too cringy for any political position. I honestly don't know anything about Sargon of Akkad. I have no idea. Enjoy trend words. You stand by the statement that language is fluid and the purpose is to communicate effectively but not necessarily correctly. Fair point. Do you have to be nice to furries? It'd be nice if you're just nice to everyone in general. We try to be nice to people. You know, I try to encourage niceness. Sargon is a Nazi according to Vorsch. All you need to know is he's dumb and got fish thrown at him one time. I've never watched anything involving Sargon, so I don't know if I'd be able to put up with it. He sounds pretty unbased, pretty non-based. Permitted term, fish. Oh fuck, what? Fish. Fish is permitted. You now have permission to say the word fish. Dude, Twitch's auto mod, which I turned off for the record. Twitch's auto mod is fucking cringe. Oh, why is that on there? Why is that on there? I don't want. Praise mods for letting us use fish. You may now fish. I honestly, like, the closest thing I could think of. The closest thing I could think of is that you could maybe compare the scent. Cool, get rid of your points. There you go, Vagabond. Enjoy that nothing. You could maybe compare the scent of vagina to fish, and maybe, like, that's a huge stretch. It's a huge stretch, but you've all heard that joke. Close your legs, I can smell fish. Stupid. Dumb bullshit. That is the only kind of thing where I can be like, maybe that's why Automod has that on there? I don't know. At any rate, Me and my little pigtails, which are covered up by this fringe thing that I got going on. Me and my pigtails are going to go grab a drink, go to the bathroom, and come back. So don't go away. Be kind to yourselves and each other. I'll be back in a moment. That's the wrong button. This is the one that I want to press. Subscribe with Twitch Prime if you have not already, or like regular Twitch. Subscribe with Twitch if you are a person who uses Twitch and would like to support my channel, or, you know, you go the Patreon route. It's cheaper. Be back in a moment. Subscribe, 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 subscribe. just kicked my fucking foot on the base of my chair as I was sitting down. Cunt! Hi, I'm back. I just unironically said to my Google Home, "Can you turn the kitchen light off, please?" I don't know why I said please, it's a robot. I can't hurt its feelings. Fuck, that hurts though, oh my god. Ow! It's alright though. I have comfort. Just like a chocolate milkshake, only drunky. Who's ever had a vodka mud shake? It's literally chocolate milk but alcoholic. It's great. I love it. I'm going to get so fat just drinking vodka mud shakes. New sponsor? I wish. What is the actual brand? I don't know what the actual brand is. It's just vodka mud shake. Is that the brand? I guess that's the brand. We have cube 1. This is the primary cube. This is primary cube. And this, my friends, is the secondary cube. And it's in the trans colors. Look at that. And it's an infinity cube. It does this thing. You can like turn it flat and then you can... How do you rotate it? You go like this and then... This one's fun. I like it. I love fidget toys, man. I could live with them just like... Hydrate? That sounds to me like you want me to crack open my mud shake. Yeah, don't go in the infinity cube. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Oh my god, dude. I love it. Anyway, hydrate. We'll actually hydrate, don't worry. You want one? Just look up Infinity Cube. Look up Infinity Cube. This one is a... You know how there were the fidget spinners a while back? Well, there were a number of those going around, and... Well, this one's actually pretty cheap by the look of it. But there are inevitably going to be, like this, for example, is an Antsy Labs fidget cube. We can get both cubes. Both cubes, right? Okay, so this is an Antsy Labs fidget cube. This is the original fidget cube, not this, like the color scheme is not the original. But I've also got another fidget cube over there, over yonder. Not that one, over there, in that little box there. You can just see it, like literally where my finger is. That was the first fidget cube that I bought, and it's a dodgy knockoff fidget cube, and you can tell the quality is different. Like these little things are different. This little thing, like it's not as satisfying to use, right? And I've played with a legit infinity cube and this one, and while this one is nice, this one's only $10, whereas the legit infinity cube costs a bit more than that. So you know, there's a certain level of fidelity with. Yonder is your favorite word. Yonder is a nice word. I like yonder. Wish we had mud shakes with vodka. This is just literally chocolate milk with vodka in it. Just grab a chalky milk, mate. Throw a fifth of vodka in there. How much? This is 0.9 standard drinks. So just like, what's a fifth of vodka? I don't know what a fifth is. Just throw a single drink of vodka in a chalky milk and you got a mud shake. Shake it up. Oh, dude, I love that. Oh, I love that. That's so good. I should not have discovered these. I should not have discovered these. And furthermore, to the point. More to the point. Let me just have a whinge about dysphoria for a moment. Dysphoria. Not that one. Let me go back through my tweets for a minute. This. I bought these today. I got carded, as you do when you go to buy the alcohols. Because, you know, I still have a baby face, apparently. And I said to the guy, I don't know why I said this. I said, it looks nothing like me. I said to him, oh yeah, you can see my ID, because he carded me. And I go, yeah, you can see my ID, but it looks nothing like me because it looks like a bloke. It literally, like my ID literally looks nothing like me nowadays. And he asked my ID, and then as he handed my ID back, he dead named me because my old name is on my ID card. I want to die. I just want to die. I would like to die. I would like to just... I don't like it. I don't... Why? Yeah, why did he need to say the name? He goes, thanks, dead name. And then gives me the card back, and I'm like... So, like, I gave him the ID, and he asks my birth date, which I rattle off easily enough. And it's just... Oh, my God. Yeah, bulk order my mudslides next time. I'm going to do that. Did he do it intentionally? I don't know. It's hard to say. honestly. But as I was walking back to the car, I actually did have a little bit of a panic attack. I was like, dude, why is this messing with me so much? Like, he was just messing with me. Maybe he was being a cunt. It's hard to say. But as I'm walking back to my car, I'm just like, oh my god, that actually affected me in a significant way. Because it's not like I was particularly masculine presenting. I was wearing a fucking skirt. We got the address of this shop. Have a talk. I don't know. It's like it's especially unusual because as I was making, like, today, that was at the tail end of my shift. I do food delivery for a living. Didn't mean it. He's just doing his job. Well, yeah. You hope so. You would think so. You would hope so. And I delivered some food earlier in the day. And as I pull up to the house, I overhear one of the people in the house say, look, the man's here with the food. And as I got closer, I heard the lady say, oh, it's a girl. That made me feel really fucking good. That made me feel fucking amazing. That, someone from a balcony, when I'm like up at the top of their driveway, I'm far enough away, they could still, once they actually could see me. So their original assumption before they could even see me, I could hear them across the road. It's like, oh, the man's here with the food. Then I get across the road and they're like, oh, it was a girl. That actually gave me a lot of, gender euphoria feelings. Trans stuff, we're talking trans stuff, and then it's totally ruined later in the afternoon by getting dead named and carded and fucking hate it. Anyway. At any rate, that's neither here nor there. What you really should be concerned about is the fact that Yahoo Answers will shut down forever on May 4th. I'm not joking. Can we get some, some sad faces in chat? Yes, some Fs. Can we get some Fs in chat for Yahoo Answers? Can we get some Fs in chat for Yahoo Answers? The end of a long and storied internet era of bad questions and even worse answers. Super sweet boy, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the Rogue Room. Why does Yahoo exist anymore? To give us sad stories like this. Ow, dude, what the fuck? Oh, okay. I had to check my toe for a second because it started aching, and I'm just like, genuinely thought I had made my toe bleed. Carolyn, welcome to the Rogue Room. How you doing? Yahoo Answers, one of the longest running and most storied web Q&A platforms in the history of the internet, is shutting down on May 4th. That's Star Wars Day. That's the day Yahoo Answers website will start redirecting to the Yahoo homepage, and all the platform's archives will apparently cease to exist. Dude, that sucks so fucking hard, the archives being gone. The platform has been operating since 2005. Yahoo, which is now part of the Verizon Media Group following the company's sale to Telecom for nearly $5 billion in 2017. In what universe is Yahoo worth $5 billion? Announced the change at the top of the Yahoo Answers homepage. The message links to an FAQ which details the timeline of the shutdown. Starting April 20th, the platform will no longer accept new submissions, the FAQ explains. Users will also have until June 30th to request their data, or it will be inaccessible after that. This includes all user-generated content, including your questions list, answers list, answers, and any images. Yahoo says, but you won't be able to download any other users' content, questions, or answers. Hello there, Carolyn. How you going? Gave us immortal legends like, do spiders have puss in the largest number of ways you can spell pregnant? This is for the gender euphoria. Thank you, Octan. Octangularis. I haven't actually said your name until this point. Pregananant. A note sent to active Yahoo Answers members provides a little more detail as to why Yahoo is shutting down the platform, including that it has become less popular over the years and that the company has decided to shift our resources away from the product to focus on products that better serve our members. Dear Yahoo Answers community, we launched Yahoo Answers 16 years ago to help people around the world connect and share information. With you and millions of other users, we built the best place on the web. We built the best place on the web to ask and answer questions on a variety of topics, creating a community of global knowledge sharing. While we could not have been the prouder of what we accomplished together, we are reaching out today to let you know that we have decided to shut down Yahoo Answers on May 4th, 2021. While Yahoo Answers War was once a key part of Yahoo's products and services, it has become less popular over the years as the needs of our members have changed. To that end, we have decided to shift our resources away from Yahoo Answers to focus on products that better serve our members and deliver on Yahoo's promise of providing premium, trusted content. Starting on April 20th, you will no longer be able to post any new questions or answers. However, you can still view any posted questions and answers until May 4th. On May 4th, the site will be shutting down. If you would like to download a copy of your questions and answers you have posted, you can do this by signing into your privacy dashboard and requesting a download. You'll be able to do this until June 30th, 2021, after which your Yahoo Answers data will be securely deleted and no longer available. The closure of Yahoo Answers will not affect your Yahoo account or other Yahoo services. For further information and instructions on how to download your data, please visit our FAQ or copy and paste this URL into your browser. There's always Wayback. Yeah, Wayback will have it. Thank you for contributing to Yahoo Answers. We're proud and honored to have helped you connect with and learn from the Yahoo community these past 16 years. If you'd like to provide feedback, please feel free to reach out to our team at Yahoo Answers Sunset at Verizon Media. What's the bet that email address is going to be flooded with people begging them to not shut down Yahoo Answers? What's the bet, dude? Who's gonna take this game? Who's gonna take this action? We got one. So here we go. Here's a poll for you. There's a poll for you. Will the Yahoo Answers email be flooded? Yeah, nah, I don't fucking know. Isn't Wayback short on funds these days? Is it? I'm not sure. So the search engine's graveyard like Ask Jeeves and Ask Jolene. I forgot Ask Jolene was a thing. What about Dogpile? Is Dogpile still around? Do you reckon the Yahoo Answers email is going to be flooded with people saying, please don't shut down Yahoo Answers, it's the only thing I've got going left for me? Don't think, anyone who has used Yahoo Answers in earnest always is a joke. Yeah, it's always been a joke. Perhaps the shutdown is for the best, considering the site appears to be overrun with far-right conspiratorial garbage. The current Yahoo Answers homepage is highlighting such introspective gems in its Discover section as Will America survive 4 years of Joe Biden, and will this summer be record riots by BLM and Antifa? As well as this instant classic, was Stalin right about everything? We need to have a look. What does this do? Nothing. It does nothing, Raw. There you go. May all the wayward souls of Yahoo Answers now find the information they're looking for somewhere more credible. Okay, we have to look. We have to look. Yahoo Answers homepage. Let's have a look. Let's see what's on there. Oh, damn it. Oh, okay, there's a couple of questions here. Who do you blame for Yahoo Answers getting shut down? Does anyone know why Yahoo Answers is getting shut down? Will America survive 4 years of Joe Biden? What does it feel like to be 50 years old or older? Why are conservatives so triggered by MLB moving their all-star game from Atlanta to Georgia after Georgia passed a ruthless voter suppression law? Is Yahoo...
Thank you for your membership.
Carol, thank you so kindly for the sub.
Enjoy all the delights of the subscriber
I'm
lounge.
sorry, I'm losing my mind at this. Will the Yahoo Answers email be flooded? Yes. Is Yahoo ending answers proof of the New World Order and leftist propaganda taking away free speech, depopulation, and taking away individuality? I need to see what the answers are in this. Hang on a moment. I'm just changing the title. We're gonna get to cringe shortly, don't worry. Oh no, it's gone! No! You can't do that to me. No. Is Yahoo ending answers proof of the New World Order? Oh, it's there now. They don't care about all the other non-political categories people use every day of their lives. I've actually gotten tax, car, recipe, wine, pet, fitness, psychology, sports, hunting, family, etiquette, and electronic advice in this forum. Oh, fuck. The fact you're blaming liberals proves the utter stupidity of conservatives. Don't make this political. Remember January 6th? I get it. Censoring a person because they abuse their power and use the trance they put on their minions to cause chaos is probably the right thing to do. Up until that point, we lived in the honor system where a person with so much political pull had some kind of maturity and knew when to concede. Unfortunately, that luck ran out, and as they always say, one bad egg makes it difficult for everyone else. Cancel culture gone mad. It's because of too many trolls. It makes them look bad to normal people, including advertisers. How are they making any money? Of course, they clean it up. They might get advertisers back, but they're too cheap. Actually, many people are shocked to learn that First Amendment free speech guarantee, along with all constitutional rights, only protects us against the government. Don't make this political. Remember January 6th? Oh, fuck. And that's true whether we're talking about a federal government official or a state or local government official. But as far as Facebook, Twitter, and other social media platforms like Yahoo Answers, it doesn't apply because they are not the government, yada, yada, yada. It's part of it, not just Yahoo. Almost all sites are eliminating comments. Communist China does not like freedom of speech. Oh, for anyone to criticize socialism, communism, or anything else that might throw a shadow on them. Yeah, January 6th pissed me off as well. Our tech companies think they will make more money licking communist China's shoes than by respecting the voice of ordinary free people. There are almost 2 billion people in China and only about 350 million in the USA. Big tech is selling out the USA and Western civilization so they can have access to China's markets. It's about money and the end of freedom of expression. I'm a leftist and I'm upset with Yahoo's decision too, so don't go scapegoating my political party for this. 4 downvotes to 2 upvotes. This is the end result of the conservative outrage media machine. Western civilization is collapsing. You still give up Twitter as the woke. Bullying is too toxic with people's private lives being used to destroy them, like this twaddle where Mike from PA is going after a YouTuber who went to jail, did his time, and now must be hounded of drama dollars. That's why you hate dogpiling. Well, dogpiling is bad, yes. Don't do dogpiling. I used MSN Messenger. Hey, I used that. Has nothing to do with freedom of speech, for which there are far too many doesn't fully understand to begin with just what freedom of speech means in the US. I also doubt it has anything to do with the so-called New World Order, the left wing or the right wing, or any of the other possible scapegoats that will try to be used. It has to do with the decision that Verizon has determined for one main reason: the money can't be realized, isn't worth trying to maintain with the inflow, blah blah blah. All part of the communist agenda to silence freedom of speech. Freedom of speech. I, for one, will miss the endless crap of the anonymous coward while completely misunderstanding. Oh my goodness, thank you for gifting a sub to Commie Scum. Thank you for supporting communism, anonymous gifter. Thank you for supporting communism. The way forward. What in the fuck does this... What does this even mean? Oh my god. I do... What? Huh? Luck equal Moloch equal demon. Government... Oh my goodness, a hype train.
Welcome back, supporter of the cause.
Draco gifting a tier 1 food for thought, and now we're in hype train mode, folks. Well, I suppose that calls for party mode, doesn't it? I mean, that was usually reserved for... that was reserved for raids, but fuck it, now it's party mode for everything. It's party mode because hype train. While I also rattle off... Government is killing you with high-frequency electricity. Theotokos Virgin Mary gave prayers to Schema Nun Antonia. Excuse me. On how to save aborted babies from hell. If you pray these prayers diligently, aborted babies are released from hell. On each painted nail there are 40 demons. Smoking is censored to the devil. Using foul language calls upon pagan deities, aka demons. Holy Spirit departs on 7 meters. People who use drugs see demons who cleverly disguise themselves as ghosts and aliens. America will be the last country to switch to Euro, Antichrist's world currency. Contraceptives equal abortion. Semicolon, using contraceptives for 1 year equals 5 aborted kids. Miscarriages happen because of high heels. This is fucking amazing. We are like at 94% hype train. We can get to level 2. Come on. Like 100 bits. I guarantee you it's like 100 bits. Someone share 100 bits, will be in level 2. This honestly reads like something from Big Money Salvia. Is anonymous Big Money Salvia comment etiquette? This is a comment etiquette comment. Except it's not anywhere near as well structured. We're in hype train mode, folks. The party lights will stay on until we get our sub goal or we get to hype train level 2. Do it! Hype 10. I'm gonna beg for subs and bits and money now. Beg for money because I'm a poor person who needs money on the internet. Wonder if you still have a MySpace under your dead name. Oh my god. MySpace is still around, isn't it? MySpace is actually still on.
Another round.
There it is.
Be it.
100%. We're into level. Oh my god. Okay, Draco. Jesus Christ. Tipping 1500. Thank you so fucking kindly.
Another round on you.
We are now
100 bits. Instructions unclear. Tipping 1,500 bits.
Thank you, Super Sweet Boy, for the 100 and Draco for the 1500. Oh my goodness. Oh, the philosophy is out of stock. Yeah, we never ended up getting around to the philosophy, and I think Fox took off. Oops. I forgot about the philosophy bit. We could do the philosophy because Fox redeemed. Oh, there you are. I thought you left. I don't know why. I thought you left.
You are now one
We're
of
now
us.
at level 3 hype train. Okay. Okay. Thank you for gifting a sub, Winona, to Aniko and Retro. Oh my goodness gracious me. Look at the party mode hype train moment.
You are now one of us.
And yeah, I have MySpace open here. I don't know if I'd be able to log back into it because I can't remember what email I was using at the time. But MySpace is here, folks. MySpace is most certainly still around. It's different nowadays. Justin Timberlake bought it, if I'm not mistaken, and runs the platform now. But MySpace is still a thing. We're now in level 3 hype train. We are 33% of the way to level 4. Can we get it? Poggy Woggies. Okay.
You are now
Was
one
that
of
simple?
us.
Alright. Draco, you fucking legend. Thank you for gifting subs to Super Sweet Boy, Flintlock Avery, Dirty Gertie, It's Sunny, and Vayfel.
You are now
Level
one of us.
4. Jesus Christ, this is the fastest hype train I think I've ever seen. Can we hit level 5? Can we hit level 5? I don't know what else you can do. One of us. One of us. Gooble gobble. Gooble gobble. One of us.
You are now one of us.
Ah, dang it. That's a bit of a stretch. This is a bit of a stretch. I was going to say, oh, you know, I'm pretty close to 200 subs tonight. Can we reach it? But it's 181.
You are now
Oh,
one
no, it's
of us.
188, sorry. It's just jumped up to 188. It's just updated. That's doable. 200 subs is doable. I'm just saying.
You are now one of us.
Let's just see if what Mark said about Twitch subscribers. Let's revise a bit of Adam Smith, shall we? Let's revise Adam Smith for a moment. Man is an animal that makes bargains. Here we go. Scottish writer Adam Smith is often considered the most important economist the world has ever known. The concepts of bargaining and self-interest that he explored and possibility of different types of agreements and interests, such as the common interest, are of recurring appeal to philosophers. His writings are also important because they give a more general and abstract form to the idea of the commercial society that was developed by his friend David Hume. Have you got an ad? You shouldn't get an ad, you've got a sub. We're at 48%. You got 3 minutes. Can we reach level 5? 12 more subs will get me to 200, by the way. I'm just dropping that little bit of information in there. And we're doing party mode philosophy, which I think is giving me a headache. I think the party mode's actually giving me a headache. Like his Swiss contemporary Jean-Jacques Rousseau, Smith assumes that the motives of human beings are partly benevolent and partly self-interested. But that self-interest is the stronger trait and so is a better guide to human behavior. What was I saying? He believes that this can be confirmed by social observation, and so broadly speaking, his approach is an empirical one. In one of his most famous discussions of the psychology of bargaining, he contends that the most frequent opening gambit in a bargain is for one party to urge the other. The best way for you to get what you want is to give me what I want. Which is 12 subs. Anyway, I don't know what exactly you get out of that, though. You get ad-free viewing, you get emotes, and you get my adoration, my undying love for you. Okay. You want the undying love of a trans e-girl on Twitch? Where were we? In other words, we address ourselves not to another's humanity, but to their self-love. Smith goes on to claim that the exchange of useful objects is a distinctively human characteristic. He notes that dogs are never observed exchanging bones, and that should an animal wish to obtain something, the only way it can do so is to gain the favor of those whose service it requires. Humans may also depend on this sort of fawning or servile attention, but they cannot resort to it whenever they need help because life requires the cooperation and assistance of great multitudes. For example, to stay comfortably at an inn for the night, we require the input of many people. To cook and serve the food, to prepare the room, and so on, none of whose services can be depended on through goodwill alone. For this reason, man is an animal that makes bargains. And the bargain is struck by proposing a deal that appears to be in the self-interest of both parties. We're bargaining here, folks. I'm bargaining with you. Got a minute and 24 seconds. Can we get to level 5? Level 5 hype train. This is the best you got. Party lights that are giving me a headache. But you know, once the hype train runs out, I'll turn the lights back off. I'll set it to this mode. I'll set it to dark mode. We got the party lights going. Now we're in raver mode, dude. Like, this is rave mode. You know, we already had party. This is cocktail party shit. You got music pumping. I mean, you got music pumping in a rave too, but this is like dark room kind of raving situation. What happens if I turn this off? Where'd I go, mates? Check it. Yes, oh, whoops. That didn't work. I do indeed have a portal gun on my shelf. I'll grab it in a moment if we hit. Can we get to level 5 in the next 30 seconds? 30 seconds, and I'll get the portal gun out. You haven't subbed at your port at the moment. I actually feel that. I'm not actually serious. Sorry for all the emotes. This is stressful. Don't feel sorry for the emotes. Is it me they think is a bot? Someone? No, you're not. I don't think you're a bot. Not at all. Thank you, everybody, for all the fantastic support. You've been legends. Okay. It's not... Alright. Hype train complete at level 3. What? It said level 4. I swear it said level 4. Okay, whatever. Doesn't matter. I was misreading it. Thank you, everybody. You are absolute fucking legends. Let's turn these lights back to normal because I'm actually getting a headache from this. 10 thubs. And 16,000 bits. Weird champ. You're a weird champ. I got something. I got some kind of emote. I got hype jewel here. Look at this thing. I don't know what that is. Can barely make out what that is. Emotes are being delivered to supporters. Alright, so. Oh yeah, that's the thing too, isn't it? Hype train supporters get special emotes. Rightio Fox, have a good rest while I quickly grab my portal gun and show you this here. Look, this says the rogue room now. But you can't see it because it's all the way over there. It's a shattered amethyst. That's kind of mean to people who like amethysts like me. But look, it says the rogue room. Anyway, portal gun. I have a few cute things. Yes, indeed, I do have a portal gun. It has light. Like, look at this. Whoops. Like, it's got these lights on it. It's got the 3 lights on the ends of these. I don't know why it has those lights. I don't remember that from the game, but... Oh my god! Can you stop destroying your office, you dumb bitch? Anyway. It's on purple at the moment, but... we can change it to blue. Change it to orange. Blue. Orange, blue. I could have sworn there was a mode on this and I can't seem to find it. That's another orange. It's got red. I could have sworn there was a mode on this where you press the trigger, which you can sort of see back under there. Well, not really. But where it would actually swap the lights just by doing that. But it's been sitting on my shelf for ages with no batteries in it. And now I'm like showing off my portal gun for no reason. There you go. I hope you like it. It's cute. I like the purple the most, obviously, because I'm a purple head. There we go. Let's put this back over here. Now you're thinking with portals. It is pretty cool. I love it. It's awesome. It's fucking sick. Not gonna lie, over the years I've picked up some pretty awesome shit, and I'm a fan of all the stuff that I've got. You know, there's many a thing, quite frankly, that I've missed out on over time, and I'm sad because I don't have all the money in the world, but sometimes I do get a bit of money, and then I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna grab that. Like that stupid Siri sword that I did not need, but holy shit is it one of the coolest things I own. Shall we talk about how cringe I am? Because let's be honest, I am pretty cringe. Sarah, how you doing, lovely? What's going on? Welcome. Let's put the hair behind the ear for a minute, because I just noticed you can't see my sword earrings. How cringe? I'm pretty cringe. I'm pretty cringe, I would say. I don't know. Did someone say cringe? Yes, we did. Hair behind the ears. It's a cute look. I like it. But like, when we think about if we're not at least a little cringe, are we really living? Exactly. You know, we certainly do. Let me turn this down just a tad. It's a bit loud. We do have a tendency. Excuse me. We do have a tendency to use the phrase cringe by and large to refer to others. You know, we have a tendency to look at someone else's cringe. What's someone else doing? Why are they so cringy? Why is that person getting around dressed like that, acting like that, saying those things, etc.? And then you're just like, oh, ew, why'd you do that thing? You know, why are you that kind of person? Especially when we see someone who is in some way similar to us. And then we're just like, oh my goodness, they're kind of like me, but I don't want to be associated with that kind of person because they're doing something that's awkward and embarrassing. But by the same token, we also have that internal cringe of you've all had the situation, I'm sure, where you've had a flashback, a memory of something you did when you were younger, and you internally just collapse in on yourself from sheer embarrassment, even though it's something that happened like 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and has no impact on the now, has no impact on the reality of the situation, the life you're living at this very moment. I'm probably going to cringe on these streams at some point, honestly. Like the portal gun shit. You know? Yeah, it's a physical reaction. We have a very visceral physical reaction to thinking about things from when we were a lot younger. Star cool. There you go. But yeah, that feeling never goes away. Like, I hate it as well. I hate the fact that... oh, hang on. We'll go back to... We'll change the title back. Let's change it back to Cringe Politic Girl. That feeling, yeah, never goes away, I don't think. I think everybody experiences that to some extent. And it's not just about ourselves, and it is about... In some ways, we get a feeling of cringe from, yes, indeed, society. I gotta do Joker makeup. The society. I've already got, like, the red lipstick. I just, like, pull it out a bit and, like, do full white face makeup. I'm set, dude. I just color my hair green or golden. I'll just get a Joker filter. There's probably a Joker filter. But yeah, we do have a tendency as well. You know, I find myself in the particular situation of... let me think for a second. I find myself a lot of the time particularly cringing at Australia and the way that Australia is portrayed outside of Australia, and the way that we're almost looked at as somewhat oafish on the world scale. Australia is often kind of seen as somewhat embarrassing in its own regard. You know, there's a certain image of Australia that paints us as, and this comes from years and years of a built-up identity in media, I would say. Stuff like fucking, what's it called? Movies like Crocodile Dundee and all that, you know, paint a certain image of what Australia is. And we're known for being drunkards who live in the outback and use kangaroos as a primary mode of transport. Not just that, you know what I mean, that's one thing. And yeah, you can cringe at that stereotype, of course. The drunkard one particularly. I'm peeling my label off. Anyway. And yeah, I think the way that people, like, you know, you cringe at a lot of the stereotypes that surround Australians, more legitimate ones. You know, I definitely look at them and I'm just like, you know, I'm nothing like these other people, these other Australians who absolutely fit the bill completely. And yet I You know, I know those stereotypes are not 100% accurate. I know I'm not like those kinds of people, but the association with that kind of person makes me think to myself, well, I'm Australian. People are looking at me as an Australian and seeing those kind of things and associating that kind of thing with me as well. From South Carolina, you find commonality with those Australian tropes. Replace kangaroo with gator. Don't think Australia really has that reputation in the UK. It might have, like, it's certainly changed over the years. You know, the reputation of Australians has changed over the years, quite frankly. But, you know, there is still the common tropes of Aussies throwing shrimp on the barbie. We literally never call them shrimp, for the record. Australians call them prawns, because they're prawns. Hello, Dawn. How you going? I'm doing alright. I'm doing okay. I'm semi-drunk. I am semi-drunk, and I'm enjoying it. It's good shit. Did I ride a gator down the river to get to town yesterday? Of course. Why wouldn't you? And I've got my kangaroo parked in the driveway, naturally, but he's having a snooze. His name is Bethesda. Anyway, semi-drunk on 0.9 drinks. I haven't even finished it yet. That's another thing that I get a little bit, I get drunk a lot more easily nowadays, because HRT has absolutely taken the wind out of my sails with regards to alcohol tolerance. I am piss weak. I'm a lightweight, getting drunk on milk plus. Chucky milks, mate. Getting drunk on spicy Chucky milks. I could grab another one of those. Internet's back. Awesome. Awesome. Let me have a look for a second. But there was this thing that I found. I didn't realize this was a thing. Cultural cringe. Yes, quite literally, there is a concept in social anthropology which I am going to be studying. I actually dropped my anthropology module for the time being, but it is going to be my major, sociology and anthropology. Hello, Rena. How you going? You've been teetotal for almost 4 years. What does teetotal mean? That one episode of The Simpsons, which way do your toilets flush? I have not paid enough attention to know, honestly. You never drink, you go like months between drinks. As a result, you're an absolute lightweight. Hey, look, the bot's actually posting the correct episode of The Inconsolables. There we go. We don't have to cringe at the fact that it's posting the wrong episode. Oh means no booze. Okay, there you go. But here's an interesting thing. The Australian writer, Australian bush poet Henry Lawson, wrote in his preface to his short stories in prose and verse, "The Australian writer, until he gets a London hearing, is only accepted as an imitator of some recognised English or American author, and as soon as he shows signs of coming to the front, he is labelled the Australian Southey, the Australian Burns, or the Australian Bret Harte, and lately the Australian Kipling. Thus, no matter how original he may be, he is branded at the very start as a plagiarist and by his own country, which thinks, no doubt, that it is paying him a compliment and encouraging him, while it is really doing him a cruel and almost irreparable injury. But mark, as soon as the southern writer goes home and gets some recognition in England, he is so-and-so, the well-known Australian author whose work has attracted so much attention in London lately. And we first hear of him by cable, even though he might have been writing at his best for 10 years in Australia." Okay, so I'm not quite sure what that has to do with cultural cringe, but the term cultural cringe, this is kind of interesting that it stems from Australia, actually, was coined in Australia after the Second World War by the Melbourne critic and social commentator A.A. Phillips, and defined in an influential and highly controversial 1950 essay of the same name. It explored ingrained feelings of inferiority that local intellectuals struggled against, and which were most clearly pronounced in the Australian theatre, music, art, and letters. The implications of these insights potentially apply to all former colonial nations, and the essay is now recognised as a cornerstone in the development of post-colonial theory in Australia. This is actually somewhat relevant to something I've long felt about being in Australia to begin with. I didn't realise this actually had, until today, I didn't realise there was actual sociological theory behind this concept that I have always felt. I've always thought that Australia was, generally speaking, inferior to other developed nations by way of being a poor imitator. I've always thought that. You know, primarily television has been my main inspiration for that train of thought. You know, how many Australian TV shows are just knockoffs of whatever the US or the UK is doing primarily, right? For example, Big Brother. When I was a kid, watching Big Brother, which was just an American show, but they just brought it over to Australia. And there's been a number of things that I've noticed with regards to the same kind of thing, that Australians have a tendency to, in a lot of ways, mimic whatever the UK or America is doing. They take a lot of heavy inspiration from it, and as a result, I look at Australia and I have that concept of cultural cringe, where I'm just like, yes, we have a cultural identity in Australia. We certainly do, but there is a lot of stuff where we just, completely dismiss any originality or creativity. Did Big Brother start in Holland? It may have. Once you go overseas, you realize how arse backwards Australia is in many avenues. Well, I've never been overseas. It's from the UK. Okay, we've got conflicting reports now. I thought it was America, although the UK would make sense, because it's kind of funny. The UK has had a tendency to start a series, and then the US adopts it, and then Australia adopts it, probably as a result of inspiration from both of those. But yeah, I've noticed that, Australia has a tendency to mimic a lot of things, a lot of cultural things. Hell, one of our most prominent pop singers, this annoys me to no end, one of the most well-recognized pop singers in Australia has a significant history of doing nothing but cover songs, and it drives me up the fucking wall. And I don't mean like cover songs from the 1970s. I mean like they'll cover songs from last week. All of a sudden, they've got their own cover of that particular song on the radio a week or two later, and it's cringe. It is definitely cringe. By its definition, I hear that song. It's not Guy Sebastian. Guy Sebastian actually has a tendency to release original songs. It's... what's her name? It's a woman. I forgot what her name is. What up, Code Man? How's it going? Ace, I do not know what that says. Ace FBR, I have no idea what that says. Yeah, this girl has a tendency to release covers of this is the thing, very, very, very popular songs. Very popular modern songs. And within the span of a week or a couple of months maybe, she'll have her own cover of it on Australian public radio. And I don't know why. Not Kylie Minogue, no. Not Kylie Minogue. I can't even think of what her name is. We're talking about cringe, Code Man. We're talking about cringe at the moment. And this particular artist, I don't want to discredit her or anything. She's a talented singer, but I can't think of a single song of hers that's original. And she is a prominent Australian music figure. She is not an unheard of person. She's well known. But the majority of her musical catalogue is other people's music. And I cringe at that idea because, there's nothing wrong with doing cover music. There's nothing wrong with doing it, but when it's all you're doing at a broad... Dion? Jessica Mauboy, that's it. Jessica Mauboy. Yep, that's the one. I literally can't think of an original song she's done. Not a one. And I guess maybe it's my own preconception of what we consider to be... good guess, Soul Reaper, good guess. I guess it's my own preconception of, anytime I would hear a cover on the radio, it would be from a song from decades ago, And now there's this, and it would be like a band that has a catalog. They've got a veritable library of music spanning several albums, and they release one cover song, like Disturbed doing Sound of Silence, for example. And it's a complete change from their usual format. Anyway, I'll allow that one. Gotta get some housework done so you can nap today. You're gonna lurk. Sounds good, Rena. Thank you for swinging in. But yeah, I guess my own... why are you dropping a link in my chat? Oh my god, what the fuck? Okay. This is new. I've never seen this before. Rightio then. Okay, anyway, my own personal connection with... Jesus Christ, dude. Joan Jett made her bones off covers? Her bones, what do you mean? What the hell is going on, dude? Jesus Christ. Are you alright? Yeah, there we go. Thank you, Draco. Just dismiss those. Disturbed's cover of Sound of Silence is amazing. One of the only covers that's actually better than the original. I've heard that kind of thing. Yeah, that's a thing. Make sure we turn that off at the end of the stream, though, please. The followers only mode thing. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Let's talk about the way in which Jessica Malboy does her covers. It's honestly just like she's performing the song like you would hear it normally, but it's just her singing it. And there's nothing particularly... No, you set it to... You enabled 30 minutes. That means like it's just people have to be following for 30 minutes to chat. It's not going to turn off after 30 minutes. At any rate. Yeah, like, what was I saying? So at the end of the stream, we're going to make sure we turn that off, yeah. So yeah, my common perception, JJ Whitebelt, welcome to the Red Room, of covers is generally speaking that you would have, say, a band like Disturbed take the song The Sound of Silence. You listen to Disturbed's cover and you listen to the original, and they're vastly different, but they follow the same structure, right? They're very similar sounding. Or another good example is Hurt by Nine Inch Nails, which was covered by... What's his name? What's his name? Old guy who's dead now. Johnny Cash. Two very different interpretations of the same song. But all that I've seen Jessica Malboy do is effectively karaoke. That's what it is. She's a talented singer, but all I've seen most of her music is talent. It's talented karaoke. And to that end, I cringe at the idea of someone whose entire thing... Yes, that is a kitty cat. You can see him. And I'm not trying to express any hate towards Jessica Malboy. I don't have any disdain for her as a person. But, you know, the idea of most of the music I hear on the radio is new original material by the band or the singer or whatever it is. Or if I do hear a cover, it's of a song that's quite a bit older, covered by a different style of musician. And then you contrast that with someone like Jessica Malboy taking a pop song and doing a pop song cover of it, and just having that played publicly on the radio. That is its own measure of cringe in my personal opinion, my personal output there. Because I've become accustomed to the idea that covers are done a certain way. That's standard, like you said there, Katrina. That standard is that thing in my head. I've already built up a notion of this is what's played on the music radio and this is what's played on, like, when someone does a cover. I've got this preconceived notion in my head. And to see something that ultimately feels low effort, gaining the same level of media traction, I suppose, as something that requires more effort, is, in my viewpoint, cringy. I hope that makes sense. Standards are somewhat of a jazz thing, but it carries over, but you don't know anything about this woman. How do you feel about covers that YouTubers do? It's a bit different. You refuse to listen to cover artists, you thrive off originality. Like, a friend of mine is a musician. Like, her set was 90% covers when we went to watch her perform the other night, and she's fucking talented, don't get me wrong. She's an incredibly talented guitarist and incredibly talented singer. But, you know, and I wish her the absolute best. If she was to make it, and I mean, like, really skyrocket to popularity, I'd be so proud of her, of course. But, you know, she does develop her own original songs. She's done quite a few. She performed a few of them at her set, and they were really good. And I would like to see her succeed off her original material rather than covers, you know. Because I've heard, and one of the other things, if it's underground or independent, that's one thing. If you're a professional, you should have original. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm going with it, you know. We've gotten into a discussion around music when it's supposed to be a discussion around cringe, but, you know, whatever. It does fit in there. Forgot to put the reason for one band, but the rest of them, you only did the picture, got spam. Well, yeah. Let me see something really quickly. I want to see something really quickly. No unban requests. Oh, that's disappointing. Oh, well, who cares? Yeah, if they spam dicks, they don't get a reason. What are some other things you can think of that are cringy in that regard? Cringy in that sense that you are used to a concept, socially speaking. You are used to a certain type of normal, and seeing something distinctly, outwardly different from what you're used to gives you that feeling of cringe. Gives you that feeling of like, oh, I don't like that. That's off-putting. It makes me want to walk in the other direction kind of thing. I want to cover my eyes and just be like, okay, I don't know you. Honestly, we could talk all night about how we cringe at ourselves, cringe at our own failings. But what about talking about the way we cringe at our friends? Have you had this moment? Lots of record companies demand they do covers to get publicity. Interesting. I've not personally heard that. The Pepe emote? Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Not just for the white supremacist leanings, just that it's unoriginal at this point. I've seen so many Pepe emotes that it's just... I don't care to see it anymore. I really do not care to see it anymore. Because it's cringy. Awful ones like Neil Cicierega's work where work is turned into a shitpost that ends up slapping... Oh, Neil Cicierega is great. I love Neil Cicierega. Have we gotten rid of the trolls yet? Do we reckon we can turn off followers only mode? Infected Mushroom had a song, Kebabies, turned into a giant shitpost about cum, which makes you cringe. Just seeing the word makes me cringe, honestly. Seeing that particular word makes me cringe. There we go, disabled it. Let's see how we go. Yeah, that particular word gives me certain vibes that I'm not fond of. We're talking cringe stuff. People's entire online identity is purely based around memes. What about people who do that very thing, but they do it IRL? They take it off the internet. And we talked about how, you know, how I've been saying poggers and things like that IRL. In real life. Secondhand embarrassment is always cringe, but not all cringe is secondhand embarrassment. Yeah, that would basically sum it up, I think. That's a good way to put it. You know, if you're with someone, if I'm in the presence of a certain person and they make an outward comment that if I were to think that thing, I'd keep it to myself. But that person outwardly says it. Like, I've had some intrusive thoughts where I'm like, I do not want to say that. But then you've got someone who's within your vicinity who will just outright say it. You know? You have a story on this, actually. Please hit us with the Draco. Elon fanboys are definitely cringe. Definitely cringe. Elon Musk stands. We're talking cringe stuff. Oh, yeah, we read that. Legitimately convinced friends that you had a telepathic connection with... You legitimately convinced friends that you had a telepathic connection with the vampires from Twilight. Oh, my goodness. S-Bags, welcome to the Rec Room. Oh, my goodness, Rena. That's exactly, like, that comes back around to that personal cringe thing, that, like, reflecting on our childhood, reflecting on our younger years, where we were a bit more naive. I had those kind of things. I had this belief that I had supernatural powers when I was younger. I don't know what those supernatural powers were, but at the moment my son is going through a phase where he's got these imaginary friends, some of them inspired by... He's talked about Siren Head a few times. And it's cute. It's adorable. But, you know, I think of myself when I was his age and a bit older, and I was having these legitimate convictions that these things I was experiencing were real. They were 100% convinced that, like, they could have conversations with them through you. Oh, no. There you go, Codeman. What'd you say? You wish you could stay longer? Glad to see you too, Codeman. Have a good one. Poggers. Yeah, no, like, during your teens, I most certainly had those moments of particular cringe during my mid-teens as well. I had that whole thing. I'm getting another one of these. I'm sorry. I have to leave you for a moment. I need another one. Don't go away. Just realized I don't think I shook up the other one. Not even a transition screen, no, because the transition is happening before your very eyes and has been for about 6 months now. You don't need a transition screen. I'm right here. Someone convinced you to clean your house. No. Your friend, who is quite wrecked, goes up to the counter, orders a cookie, takes a bite, goes to say, "These cookies are the bomb." You want to know what actually came out of his mouth? I've read the punchline before you get to it. This is the Nagasaki of cookies! You cannot! To the Asian person behind the... Excuse me while I die. That's fucking atrocious. Oh my god. I need alcohol for this. I need more alcohol for this. He was very drunk. I'm about to be very drunk. I will tell you why. This isn't really a cringe moment, but I will tell you why the other day. Went to lunch with family. And we were out in public. I drove myself there. But my mother, my auntie, and my sister all came in the one car. And I decided, in my infinite wisdom, while we were out having lunch at this nice cafe, that I would order a Prosecco. And I did order a Prosecco, and it was very nice. It was 1.8 standard drinks. I was fucked after that. I had to... Eventually, they went off and they left of their own volition, leaving me, a still semi-drunk transgender woman, in public, in the middle of the day. Anyway, 1.8 standard drinks apparently gets me to the point where I'm just like, okay, Abigail, you need to get off the sauce. Anyway, Alcoholic Mum. If any of you have listened to the song Common People by Pulp at least one point in your life, you like the person the singer is talking about, I'll give that a listen. You need motivation and for your stomach to stop hurting. I know the feeling. This is probably going to hit me very hard tomorrow, actually, on that note. If it makes dealing with the family easier, well, no, they're nice. My family's pretty nice. They just slip up on pronouns occasionally. Except my sister's pretty good with it. She'll correct other people if they get the pronouns wrong. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I should learn not to drink in public. That in its own way is cringe. I wasn't acting drunk. I just felt really lightheaded. And even the carb-loaded lunch I ate didn't solve the problem. I just felt really like, whoa, I need to stick with people who are, you know, I need to stay around my family. Yeah. Anywho. You just need to pick up the trash and maybe do some laundry, but holy shit, you don't want to. I know that feeling. I've got to clean my kid's bedroom, and we got to, we're going to turn the kids' beds. The kids have currently got two beds, separate single beds, and they turn into a bunk bed, and we're going to change it into the bunk bed. We're going to stack them on top of each other. It's going to be great. Are you the only one who remembers your cringe moments when you're in the shower? No, I get that too sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. But yeah, it's not a universal constant. Isn't life itself cringe? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Either in the shower or trying to get to sleep. Yeah, that's always a fun one. Laying there in bed, I'm just like, I could just be out like a light right now, but instead I'm sitting here thinking about all the awkward shit I've done over the years. And as I'm sure you're all well aware, cringe comedy, particular shows like The Office, Arrested Development, what else? The In-Betweeners, that one's really fucking, hate it. It's like that idea of watching it's like the idea of watching a really gory horror movie where they're doing stuff like peeling the character's fingernails off or something. It's like you're in that circumstance, you're cringing at the gross horror that's going on. And in the case of cringe comedy, you're cringing at the behavior of the characters. I can't stand it. Honestly, I genuinely can't stand the idea of cringe comedy. It's so bad. Love cringe comedy for some reason, you can't look away. But I suppose that's the point though, isn't it? You know, cringe comedy, the point of it is to make you uncomfortable. You're meant to look at it and be like, oh, why did that person say or do that thing? And then you put yourself in the shoes of that person, right? That's the reason it hits so easily. That's the reason it does it so well, is because you can genuinely think of yourself in that situation. You genuinely put yourself in the shoes of that character, having that awkward moment, and you're like, I'm mortified. I am absolutely mortified. You know, nobody wants to have that sensation. Nobody wants to be in that situation, whatever that situation is. I don't know, talking to a crush and saying something really just that would blow your chances out of the water, you know. Oh yeah, one of the In-Betweeners guys does Twitch now, yeah. At least with horror films, there's the expectation from the outset that you're going to see some horrifying shit. True. You can have that expectation going in, so the horror doesn't really hit you as hard, but if it's particularly gory, you know. Had a cringe moment yesterday at the start of the stream. What was that, Draco? Gonna go get shit done now. Sounds good, Rena. Sounds good. Cringe comedy has a cathartic way for a comedian to roast a room no matter their race, creed, etc. It's healthy to laugh together with no malice. Oh, I'm talking more about like cringe sitcoms sort of thing. Although I suppose you can use cringe comedy in a self-deprecating way in stand-up, of course. Legit started gushing about this girl you met and forgot she was in the chat because I told her you were... Oh, yeah. That's fine, though. It might help your case. It might help your case, but yes, in that moment, like, if you are having that that moment of gushing over somebody, yeah, I can see that. But yeah, like, I've had that moment before where I've been talking about someone I like, not thinking about the fact that the person I'm talking to is friends with the person that I was talking about. So the information probably got back to them. That's always a fear. That's like, oh, I really like person XYZ. She DM'd you in Discord and you were like, let me just link off and die now. And that's what we're talking about. That's what it's all about, isn't it? That's ultimately one of the major things that you would probably see in one of these particular cringe comedy shows that we've been talking about. Probably something like the In-Betweeners, like I mentioned. You know, this. I mean, especially, you know, the internet. I've talked about this a couple of times. The internet gives you this notion of confidence because you're hiding, typically speaking, behind a username. You know, I mean, you all know I'm Abigail. You know who I am. But when you're in, like, say, a Twitch chat or something like that, or you're on Twitter or whatever, you can just espouse whatever bullshit into the wind you want, and it's the internet. A lot of people will just dismiss it. Especially on places like Reddit, you can be completely anonymous no matter what your username is, because almost nobody on Reddit checks usernames. And in that regard, there is a lot of that confidence online that becomes habitual. You think to yourself, I can say whatever I want because it's really not going to come back on me. Which is, you know, demonstrably proven false, but it is still a notion that we hold on to. And in that regard, it's probably what you were experiencing in that moment, Draco, where, you know, you think to yourself, oh, I'm totally fine, it's the internet, I can say whatever I want, and it's not going to be a huge problem at all. People just check post history when they want to win an argument on Reddit. Yeah, they do. Someone tried to do that to me once, and I'm like, what have I posted that's going to win you an argument here? I post trans shit. They're just like, oh yeah, checking your post history, I know what you're about. It's like, what, you think you've owned me there? I don't get what you're getting at. And nobody else was paying attention to the conversation anyway. There were no upvotes on either of our posts. I don't know why I responded to them. So where were we? Been speaking on and off with people on Tinder, and holy shit, you don't respond for a long time and you cringe because you feel bad for not responding faster. Yeah, I can understand that. I've had a few moments where I've had a really good conversation with a person on dating apps. It's been a while since I've been on any of those, but I have had that moment of like, I was having a really good chat with this person, could have gone somewhere, we could have gone on a date, and then I completely forgot to keep talking with them for reasons unbeknownst to me. All the plastic fake people. Oh, cringe shows, those Jersey Shore kids. Yes, indeed. You can swear, by the way. You can swear in my chat. Well, the auto mod might catch you, but you can swear in my chat. You know. Someone graffitied on the Metro Tunnel poster, Scummo, fuck off. Oh, Scott Morrison is fucking cringe, isn't he? Scott Morrison is most definitely a cringy individual. Watch your fucking language, you cunts. Absolutely. That face. Hang on, that face or that feel? And the Twitter chain is going on for so long that no one likes any tweets and you realize no one cares about the argument anymore. Yeah. I generally don't try to get into proper arguments on Twitter. Maybe on Facebook occasionally, just because I don't know why. I don't know why there is a difference between what social media I'm using. I suppose because I care more about my Twitter. I don't want it to be inundated with arguments. There's someone I follow who, honestly, it's kind of cringy that she does this quite routinely. She'll be having an argument with someone and she'll retweet their comment to respond to it and then keep doing that when they respond. She'll keep retweeting them to get, I guess, to bump the new tweet up to the front, to the timeline or whatever it is. So, you know, you're following her, so all of a sudden her argument is on your front page no matter what. It's on your timeline no matter what. Which in its own way is... It's not Lexi, no. Lexi does do that, but this person is a lot smaller. And Lexi doesn't do it anywhere near as often as this person does. Cringe TV shows. Area you grew up in had a TV show gained popularity a number of years back. The premise, scripted southeastern US trailer park beach town drama. Myrtle Manor was the name. That sounds awful. So glad you don't Twitter or Facebook. I like Twitter. I probably shouldn't use it as often as I do. Quite frankly, it's become a bit of an addiction for me. But I do like Twitter. I don't like Facebook anywhere near as much. But I've had some good discussions on there with certain people, particularly about streaming and such. The one thing that really annoys me is anytime there is an article, there's a news article from a major publication that in any way relates to trans people or queer people in any capacity. Let's just say the Sydney Morning Herald publishes something about queer people. I'd like to self-flagellate by opening the comment section and just seeing all the dumb shit people are saying. And I really shouldn't do that. You didn't know Twitter did that? Yeah, if you quote tweet someone, it treats it like a new tweet, so it shows up on your timeline. If you respond to someone, occasionally it'll show the response, but not all the time. Whereas this particular person I'm thinking of, whose name eludes me at the moment, I've forgotten who they are, when they're quote tweeting someone, they're trying to really own them. You know, they're really, like, they think that and they might have a good point, I don't really know. I don't pay much attention to their arguments. But they do have a tendency to, like, if they're responding to someone and they're having that back and forth, they just quote tweet every single argument in the discussion. You know, if they're going at someone in particular, they will quote tweet that one person. And then when the person replies, they'll take that tweet and then reply to that. Quote tweet that one. And they just keep doing it. And that in its own way is a cringy behavior because you look at the response to their quote tweets. Their other tweets get a fair bit of interaction. They get, you know, upwards of 10, 12 likes, whatever it is. But when they do that quote tweet arguing thing, you can tell that nobody else is interested in paying attention to it because they get zero interaction. No likes, no retweets, no comments of their own, aside from people arguing back to her. And in that regard, I think that's a particularly cringy thing to do. Because it cycles back around to that notion of, like, well, it's like if someone was having an argument on the front lawn, you know, and the whole neighborhood can hear it, and they're just screaming back and forth at each other. They're going out into the street, yelling and throwing things. That's the equivalent of what you're dealing with there. And you look at, you know, two people arguing in the street, screaming at the top of their lungs. You're over in your house, peeking through the curtains, and you're like, oh, do they have to do that? I'd be so mortified if I had other people looking at me having a public spat. You know? Have you ever seen people arguing at the shopping center? Anywhere in public, generally speaking, anywhere in public. Have you ever seen people going at each other and you get that sensation of, like, I'm glad that's not me. You know? Let me have a look here. Coming back. Normies in 2019. What's a streamer? Normies in 2020. Oh, you're a streamer. It's gotten to the point where Reddit is better than Twitter. Nah, Reddit's in... I mean, Twitter, I've curated my timeline a lot more. I know it's still full of shit all the time. But Reddit is absolutely infested with transphobia, and I see it no matter where I go. Absolutely infested with it. So I don't like going on Reddit that much. It's way worse on Facebook, at least the same level of bad coming from a different age bracket. I can understand that, yeah. It's a different audience. Facebook has a specific audience of people that it appeals to. It's not necessarily relating to age, but more so relating to just certain groups of people of a certain cultural stance, I suppose. What's my take on Eddie Izzard? Eddie Izzard's fantastic. What's wrong with Eddie Izzard? I don't know. I don't pay a whole lot of attention to them. But they seem cool. Where were we? After you know half the people aren't who they claim to be on Married at First Sight, for example, where the contestants come forward and say in plain English, I'm an actor and was paid to cause a scene during the season. Yeah. It's remarkable how many people fall for those kinds of shows. It's literally soap opera level drama. Framed in such a way as to be like realistic, I suppose. Or not realistic, but like to give you the sensation that it's an actual thing that's really happening. Oh, yeah, the J.K. Rowling thing. I forgot about that. Regrettably. That's not very poggers. Eddie Izzard supporting J.K. Rowling's not very poggers. After he trolled 4chan for several years before the normies got to it, and then Reddit came around, he couldn't do it anymore. Understandable. You used to love living in flats and having drunk people yelling at their partners, friends, people they vaguely knew at 4 a.m. every Friday night. Yeah, I know. It's bloody nightmare. Hello, Gaffadil. How you going? It's cringe politics. J.K. Rowling thing. You don't know the J.K. Rowling controversy? Oh, sweetheart. Oh, darling. We could get into Joanne. Trust me. Hell, I might as well just bring up ContraPoint's J.K. Rowling video and watch that whole thing, because it's a delight. Well, what I recall of Eddie Izzard with the J.K. Rowling situation, let me look it up really quick. Oh, hang on. Let me actually add on. I can't type anymore because I'm drunk. Eddie Izzard defends J.K. Rowling. Says she doesn't believe author is transphobic, which is complete and total bullshit. Hate the idea that we are fighting between ourselves, but it's not going to be sorted with the wave of a wand. Ha ha ha! Made a Harry Potter reference. I don't have all the answers. Izzard told the Telegraph. Eddie Izzard is sharing her thoughts on J.K. Rowling. His controversial comments about the trans community have been widely condemned as transphobic because they are. Because it's a transphobia what she did. Izzard, who recently announced she is gender fluid and identifies with she, her pronouns, defended the Harry Potter author who has come under fire for comments she made on Twitter and later in an essay about her views on gender. Like she needed to write an essay on gender. The piece was slammed by organizations like GLAAD as well as by Hollywood stars like Daniel Radcliffe and Emma Watson, who starred in the Harry Potter films based on Rowling's books. In a new interview with The Telegraph, Izzard said she's followed the controversy but doesn't believe Rowling is transphobic. I think we need to look at the things she has written about in her blog. Women have been through such hell over history. Trans people have been invisible too. Hate the idea we are fighting between ourselves, but it's not going to be sorted with a wave of a wand. I don't have all the answers. If people disagree with me, fine, but why are we going through hell on this? And then John Cleese also chimed in, stating that J.K. Rowling and the cancel culture situation. Oh, actually, no, John Cleese's thing is even worse. British actor John Cleese recently reiterated his previously public support of Rowling in the matter and wrote on Twitter, I'm afraid I'm not that interested in trans folks. Yike. Anyway. Yeah, she wrote a fucking turf essay, not apologizing for, but defending her turfy bullshit. And Izzard, being gender fluid, should be perhaps a little bit more understanding of the matter, I feel. Because it's not the issue, like, J.K. Rowling hides behind feminism, I think. J.K. Rowling tends to hide behind the idea of, her interpretation of women and girls, which is typically natal women and girls, which is, by its very definition, exclusionary. I don't understand why Eddie Izzard would side with J.K. Rowling on this. And it ultimately comes down to, in my personal opinion, just looking at it from the outside, looking in, wealthy white British people allying with each other. Natal femoids. I like how the bot picked up femoids. Oh shit, not trying to support Eddie, but the Telegraph asked and Izzard had to think about a tactical response. The interviewer shouldn't have gone there and taken this quote and blowing it. Well, that's a point. That is a point. But at the same time, Izzard could have stood firm and said, I disagree with those viewpoints. Fish. I don't think Surrey and McKellen would support Rowling. I don't know if Fish v. mine. Oh, fuck. It doesn't auto-mod Foids. Oh my god. What was I going to say? I don't think Ian McKellen would outwardly support Rowling. Especially given that he has made outright comments about how we should support trans folks. He has expressed open support of transgender people. Stating stuff like he's been through the oppression of gay people and he realizes exactly what trans people are going through right now. We need to be as supportive of them as we possibly can. And anyone, quite frankly, if anyone is putting out a manifesto about how they are critical of the idea of transgender people, their opinion needs to be dismissed entirely. We need to not listen to them on issues relating 1.8 standard drinks. On issues relating to transgender people. There was a tweet I retweeted earlier that was like, cis people's opinions on trans issues should be disregarded. There's no reason to listen to a cis person's opinion on trans issues. There's simply not. Because what experience do they have? What experience does a cis person have with transgender issues? What experience do they have in any way, shape, or form? They simply do not have the experience to comment on it. Hell, I barely have the experience to comment on it. I've only been out for like 6 months and I heavily repressed before that. I hid my transness for most of my life because I was terrified of coming out because people like Joanne Rowling made a career out of mocking and deriding transgender people and turning us into a joke. How many jokes did you see on South Park, for example, about trans people? The Simpsons has done a few jabs at trans people. Obviously, stuff like Family Guy has. For the longest time, one of the major reasons I repressed my trans identity so much was because it was so commonplace to treat transgender people as some kind of predator, which is exactly what Joanne talks about in her TERF manifesto. Yes, I'm going to keep calling it a TERF manifesto because that's absolutely what it is. You don't write 4,000 words about transgenders without it being a manifesto. Been out for 4 years. You are a trans mum now. Yeah, you can be my trans mum because I'm a baby tran. I'm a little baby tran. I'm still learning to crawl, so forgive me if I stumble a bit and vomit all over the floor. But if I vomit, it'll be because of the alcohol. Oh, fuck. Anywho, 6 years, that's awesome. I'm glad to see people out and proudly trans. It's fucking sick, dude. Sick nasty. It's gnarly, man. It's awesome. It's badass. When I say sick, like when it's sick as fuck, bro. Shouldn't say bro, but I'm dressed like this. I use that kind of slang terminology. I always have. What was in those baby bottles? Mud shakes. Living for them. Thank you. Couldn't find the joke in South Park. Just a character designed to make fun of trans people. And that's what it is. Like, watch or don't watch if you don't want to put up with having to revisit this pain. But Lindsay Ellis's video on pop culture transphobia. And the origins of it in which he talks about, like, you know, for a significant portion of major, like, mass media history, transgender people have been treated as not a joke, but something to be seen as an object of disgust. Notably, there's a scene in one of the Ace Ventura movies, I forget which one it was, where he reveals that a woman has a penis, and like everyone else in the scene, and there's like 30 other people in the scene, start vomiting, violently vomiting at the fact that women have pee-pee. That's the joke. Women have penis. That the joke. First movie Einhorn scene. Yeah, exactly. That's it. And that's all it was. And that's all it has been for a long time. Trans people have been treated as just the butt of a joke. And oftentimes, it's the most low surface level kind of joke you can think of. I think the joke there was that also all the men had been thirsting over her for years, but yeah, transphobic too. Exactly. Biggest disappointment in The Crying Game. What's The Crying Game? And yeah, like, this is the thing. If we go back to South Park, I used to watch a lot of South Park when I was a kid. When I was too dumb to realize all the problematic shit in it. And I most definitely saw some of the transphobic scenes. I watched a lot of South Park. But at the time, like, you know, the joke from Family Guy was, I think there was a joke in Family Guy that was like, it's not a chick with a dick, it's a dude with tits, or something like that. And, you know, when you're not in touch with that particular side of things, when you're not in touch with the trans side of the discussion, you look at that and you think, haha, that's a funny jab, because dudes don't have tits, generally speaking, and chicks don't generally have dicks, and that's a ha-ha funny. And there's no actual joke there. It's just, this is this unusual thing that I don't get. You know? South Park is aggressively, petulantly centrist. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. They're definitely one of those groups. Groups not really the way to phrase it, but you know, definitely that situation of like, we make fun of everything. We make fun of everyone. But for example, if you take the, now we're getting into centrism and not transphobia, but anyway, being hateful is wrong. But didn't the movie come out in like 2000? Which movie are we talking about? Like the South Park movie? Because, you know, South Park as a TV series has had a bunch of issues. It's a mob film about a hit that takes an odd romantic turn. Oh, I see. And yeah, I used to enjoy South Park. I genuinely did. But you know, a lot of that stuff that I used to watch when I was younger has been ruined by growing up, basically. Ace Ventura was earlier than 2000, I think. It was actually earlier than the year 2000. I might be wrong on that. Family Guy's jokes make no sense since the writer is quite left-leaning. That's the thing, right? There you go, early 90s. That's the thing. It reminds me of Isaac Butterfield in the sense that Isaac Butterfield has a tendency to do comedy that is either centrist or right-leaning, right? And what he has a tendency to, like, I've heard that he doesn't really agree with the things he says in his videos politically. Those aren't his actual viewpoints. He's just saying all this extreme, ridiculous, obviously offensive shit because the particular comedy angle he's going for is, how far can I push this? Which, if people are laughing at it, technically falls under the umbrella of comedy. But yeah, I'm a right-wing comedian. He's also a podcaster. Anyway, nothing against podcasters, by the way. But there is a tendency towards, say, for example, he has, yeah, honestly, his YouTube just seems to be able to get a reaction because he's a reactionary. Or at least his comedy is under the guise of reactionary behavior, which is not a good thing. Because he's got a significant audience. He's got a significant audience, and just, we haven't done Tim Pool. We haven't touched on Tim Pool. Maybe we should soon, but it's getting late. I've had too much shakes. I love you. Okay. I'm gonna put my mouth on you, so... Anyway, the short clips you've seen of his stand-up is not as bad. It depends on what clips you've seen, because I've seen some clips that are really, really bad. Anyway, enough horny. Also, I swear I washed this. I swear I washed this out, but it still tastes like pre-workout, which probably means I'm injecting I'm probably micro-dosing caffeine right now. Not a good thing. Anyway. Yeah, Tim Pool is a copium dealer. That's a good way to put it. Tim Pool, and a lot of other people. There are a bunch of people. Gothics, for example, blew up by being a reactionary and starting a reactionary YouTube channel. Now has over 100,000 subscribers. And all she does is espouse right-wing talking points. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Someone who was, generally speaking, a small-time streamer who wasn't really talking much in the way of politics to begin with, all of a sudden starts spouting a bunch of reactionary garbage and has a massive following in no time. I fucking hate the way that works. Pool and the Quartering had a falling out, apparently, because Quartering was late to the podcast. Maybe if you remove the beanie, his brain would get some oxygen. Tim Pool is a toilet flushing. Oh, goodness. We should do a Tim Pool stream. We should do a Tim Pool stream. Tomorrow, though, we're doing, what are we doing tomorrow? Does anyone know what we're doing tomorrow? I've forgotten. I forgot. Stardew. Not Stardew. Valheim. Tomorrow I'm going to play Valheim for a bit, because I'm not going to continue, I'm not going to continue talking my head off. I need to have a bit of a break from talking and just play a video game for a bit. What do you reckon? Do you reckon that's a good thing? I reckon that's probably a good thing. So that's my goal for the next few days. Well, the next one day. Actually, on the subject, Stardew is Valheim 2.0. If you have not already, I've got a straw poll here to vote for the next week's Wednesday video game, what I'm going to do. Currently, Alien Isolation is winning at 12 votes. Fallout New Vegas coming up behind on 11 votes. Silent Hill 4, The Room with 9 votes. And Sleeping Dogs with 3 votes. So every Wednesday I stream a video game. And whichever one wins this poll here. I've missed like most of our... The Republican Party has been the party of voter suppression since the 1960s. I've missed a bunch of articles we were going to talk about. But anyway... I don't think I have Sea of Thieves. The votes have just changed in favor of Fallout New Vegas. And if you have not already, please go and watch Sports, my latest YouTube video essay, which I really enjoyed doing. At any rate, go vote in that poll if you would like to decide what my Wednesday streams are going to be. But tomorrow we are doing Valheim for at least one stream. I haven't beaten any bosses in Valheim as yet, so I might try to do that. Let me think to myself for a moment. Let me clear my head because the alcohol is really getting to me. Let me think. I think I had Sea of Thieves, but only on Game Pass, and I don't think I have Game Pass anymore. I think I got rid of Game Pass. Fucking ads, man. I wanted to check in on a particular channel and consider them for a raid, but now it's like there's an ad playing. The gears are taking over because I'm looking for someone to raid. And I'm like, who do I raid? 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 Who do I raid, folks? What do we think? What do we suggest? I'm looking at someone and I'm like, oh yeah, Ruthie's on. Yeah, we'll go raid Ruthie, why not? It's a good idea. I didn't even notice that. Yeah, sometimes I have high ambitions of rating a certain person, but I'm like, they have way too many viewers and I'd be a little speck in the grand scheme of things. They wouldn't notice me. I'd raid them and they'd be like, oh, thank you, and then go on with the rest of their stream and ignore me. I want to get to the point where I could drop a massive raid on somebody and they'll respond. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. Thank you everybody for hanging out tonight. It's been a delight getting drunk with you. Here's my socials if you're not already following me on Twitter, in my Discord, YouTube, Instagram, or Facebook. Follow all of those or join those or whatever the situation is. I don't know. I'm gonna go swing my sword around drunkenly with the cameras turned off. You're not allowed to see that. That's private content. For me only. My eyes only. And those who I say are allowed to see it. Me swinging around my big witcher sword. You know. Hang on. Watched it when Vosh went on and Vosh had to stop him every 30 seconds to say you were positive to Republicans and negative to Democrats. Oh, Tim Pool. We'll do a Tim Pool stream. We'll talk about Tim Pool tomorrow. Not OnlyFans. I don't have an OnlyFans. I'll see you later. Thank you everybody for hanging out. I love your faces. I'll see you when I'm looking at you. Sup.
Using spin.